the place in the door, put a big thermos bottle
For
in
a
it.
handle of Jack Daniels?
I don't think it's liquor bottles. I think it's water bottles, but whatever. As I mentioned, it does have the Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, which, by the way, I have a story coming up in news that you're going to find interesting. What could use improvement? This is an economy truck, so nothing if you keep in mind that it is an economy truck. Don't bling it up is my word to you. If you're going to buy this truck, use it for your pool service business. Use it for a fun truck to have. It's got plenty of juice under the hood. Why not? Exterior, oversized headlights and a kind of a nondescript grille, but it works. Bed section has attractive tail lights and integrated hitch in the bumper area. Big wheel openings. They just beg for big tires and wheels. So get the cheapo and then go out and buy you some big old
Mutters.
Yeah, because the factory wheels have one gold tooth.
Well, that's with the trimmer edition.
Oh, okay.
That was with the trimmer, which I thought was kind of neat, actually. Cargo bed, it's small. It's small back there. What I like, it's handy-looking demeanor. Does that make sense to you?
Well, it'll also fit well in a garage.
It looks like you can manipulate it.
Well, you would know about that. I wouldn't. What could use improvement? They need to offer an extended length bed as an option. Just a thought. Maybe they won't. Maybe they will.
I'm sure somebody makes one of those little drop-down cages.
They do. Yes, I've seen
You lay down the end gate, set that little cage out there to get an extended length.
The engine is a 2.0 liter EcoBoost 4-cylinder, 250 horsepower, 277 pound-feet of torque. Has an 8-speed automatic transmission. Get this. It'll tow up to 4,000 pounds. That's a lot.
That's a lot.
And a haul rating up to 1,500 pounds. Miles per gallon in the city, 23.7. And combined, it gets 25. I got 23.7 miles per gallon over 391 miles. Not too bad for a non-hybrid vehicle.
It's pretty good.
Plenty of power from the EcoBoost motor. What could use improvement? Again, look at a hybrid that gets 37 miles per gallon. As a matter of fact, next week, I've got the hybrid version of this.
Wow,
and it got 37 miles per gallon on average.
Was that the tease?
That's the tease for next weekend. Okay. Ride and handling, easy to drive. What could use improvement? Well, it's choppy, has a rough ride with an unloaded bed. I didn't put anything back there, so, you've got to do the compromise thing. You want a truck? Well, if you don't have anything in the bed, it's going to be kind of bouncy because how are you going to get any kind of load back there?
And if it'll haul up to 1,500 pounds, that's a pretty big donkey if you wanted to haul donkey.
Or a mother-in-law.
Haul donkey.
Mother-in-law.
Mars. Donkey.
Mother-in-law.
That's one of those terms that Mars uses. Okay, I think that you get it. Base price $27,955.
Not bad.
As tested is $37,465, and you go, what? The trimmer package alone is $44,990. 4,400.
It's
a lot of stuff.
Wheels and tires,
It is.
exterior graphics,
And it's
different interior.
off-road package. It's a whole nine. You couldn't go out and buy these parts for $5,000 or $4,500.
I think they should get Reba McEntire to advertise for it from the movie Tremor. No.
Cute. So the base model price is $22,195. Thank you for that. Competitors to this vehicle: the Hyundai Santa Cruz for $25,700, the Honda Ridgeline $38,800, and the Ford Ranger, which is a little bit bigger than the Maverick, starts at $26,400. And that is my review of the 2023 Ford Maverick. All right. Hey, the In Wheel Time Car Talk Show is available 24/7 through the iHeartRadio app. Just look for In Wheel Time Car Talk. We also video stream on Facebook, YouTube, and InWheelTime.com. Podcasts at your fingertips on over a dozen of the most popular podcast outlets out there. The In Wheel Time Car Talk Show continues right after this quick break.
Tailpipes and Tacos, Houston's premier car cruise-in returns Saturday, April 15th to the Lupi Tortilla Tex-Mex in Katy, 8 to 11 a.m. Bring your Hot Rod Classic, Restomod, or any other vehicle you'd like to show and compete for one of 3 highly coveted chili pepper trophies. This April 15th kickoff event is one you'll want to put on your calendar because 100% of the money you donate for the free tacos will be given to God's Garage. You heard right. Free tacos. Whatever you decide to give, all of it will be given to God's Garage and matched by Lupi Tortilla. God's Garage gifts vehicles to single mothers, widows, and wives of deployed military in the greater Houston area. In fact, the Garage will gift a vehicle to a mom in need at this special event. Be sure to attend the next Tailpipes and Tacos Cruise In, Saturday, April 15th, 8 to 11 a.m. at the Lupi Tortilla Tex-Mex in Katy on the Grand Parkway at Kingsland Boulevard, just south of I-10. Free breakfast tacos for any donation to God's Garage. It'll make your heart and your belly feel good.
Mecum Auctions, the world's largest collector car auction company, returns to Houston, April 13th through 15th at NRG Center. Featuring 2,000 muscle cars, Corvettes, exotics, customs, and more. Broadcast live on Motor Trend TV and Motor Trend Plus. From avid collectors to those new to the Mecum experience, we welcome everyone. Register to bid now at Mecum.com.
You own a car you love. Well, why not let Gulf Coast Auto Shield protect it? Houstonian John Gray invites you to his state-of-the-art facility to introduce you to his specialist team of auto enthusiasts. We promise you'll be impressed. Whether you're looking to massage your original paint to a like-new appearance, apply a ceramic coating, install a paint protection film, nano-ceramic window tint, or new windshield protection called ExoShield, Gulf Coast Auto Shield is where Houston's car people go. Curbed your wheels? Instead of buying new, why not have them repaired? How about a professionally installed radar detector? Gulf Coast Auto Shield does that too. Get a peek inside the shop and look at the services offered by getting online and heading to gcautoshield.com. Better yet, stop by their facility at 11275 South Sam Houston Tollway, just south of the Southwest Freeway, and get a personal tour. Gulf Coast Auto Shield is your place to go for all things exterior. Call them today, 832-930-5655 or gcautoshield.com.
It's the NWL Time Car Talk Show coming up. Mr. Sleepy, Randy Borcherding from Paint House tells us the difference between regular and custom paint. I see that smile on your face. You can't take it off of there.
Been drinking.
Conrad has This Week in Auto History, and we'll get you caught up on the stories making car news this week. Howdy, along with Mike out of This World Mars, King Conrad DeLong. We need more Jeff Zekin. I'm Don Armstrong. Thanks for joining us today. And as I mentioned, it's Randy Borcherding, ladies and gentlemen, from Paint House, Houston's premier custom paint facility and customizer, Randy Borcherding. Did you like Mr. Sleepy? Oh, he's got
You have to
muted.
unmute your phone.
Unmute yourself, Randy. We can't hear you.
No,
we
still
still can't hear you. Randy. My God, he sleeps in late last week, and this week we can't hear him.
There we go. How's that?
Yeah, much better.
There
There
you go.
Yeah.
Coming from the paint mixing room, it looks like.
You know,
My secret lair.
we have to make sure that you're still married to Jen because you need somebody to take care of you, and I know that she does.
Oh, that she does. You're right.
Yeah.
And yeah, she's the one.
Yes.
And you're right. I need it. I
Yeah.
definitely need it.
Yeah, no doubt, because your life is chaos up there at the Borcherding pad and Paint
Indeed.
House. Yeah, and you,
Palatial
We
estate.
call it the Lazy Bee Ranch.
the Lazy Bee. You got it. Well, you slept
Yes.
in last week, so we thought we'd start the
did.
show a little bit late, so we'd make sure
Thank
that you
you.
were awake
The
for this
sleepy
week's
bee.
show. Yeah.
You're gentlemen and scholars.
Well, definitely the scholar part.
No, I don't know.
Randy,
What's up? What's
well,
up, fellas?
here's what we're kind of throw this out at you. I know that there's a difference between car paint and house paint, but there's also
Yep.
differences among car paint. Labels,
True.
kinds, brands,
Mixtures.
all that. So
Yep.
why don't you walk us through it, because some paint is no longer allowed to be sprayed on cars, am I correct?
Yeah, like lacquers and maybe some of the older enamel products just aren't. Maybe they're not illegal, but they're not used anymore.
Why aren't they used
now-
anymore?
Durability factors and probably cost. These urethanes we're using now, and even deeper into that, the water-based products are so much more durable, color fast in the sunlight. They match better when you need to repair them. So it's just an evolution of the technology, I suppose, is the biggest answer, or the best answer for that.
So when I take the car over to Earl Scheib for $29.95 and want to have it painted, do I have a choice of paint?
I think so. I haven't been there in decades,
Yeah,
but I do think there are levels you can purchase. Yes.
I got you.
So has the EPA also impacted the automotive paint industry with their restrictions on, say, the old style enamels? Whatever happened to Imron? That was supposed to be the latest and greatest about 20 years ago.
God, I haven't heard that in a decade.
Honestly, I don't shoot that brand, so I don't even, it may still exist. I don't know. That was a DuPont thing, which is now a company called Axalta bought DuPont. So it may still be out there. I know it was big in the airplane industry, aircraft industry, and boats back in the day because it was very durable. You know, I think the biggest change going from lacquers and enamels to what we use now is the addition of a catalyst or a hardener that takes that resin that's the base of the color and makes it harden into almost what we call a plastic. Essentially, you're putting a plastic on a car. You're coating it in a plastic.
Is that what
acrylics
comes in a factory paint job?
In a sense, they use a different chemistry than we do. We couldn't spray what they spray, and they don't spray what we spray. And that's where color matching can be tricky at times, because some of these silvers and golds and three-stage colors, the candy reds and the pearl whites, what they spray at the OEM level is not the same chemical product that we would spray in our shop. So getting a color match can be a challenge at times.
Can you get that factory paint?
You can, but it's not the same actual product the factory sprayed. It's a paint company's interpretation of that color in their chemistry.
Yeah.
So PPG or Axalta or BASF or whomever.
And what paint company do you prefer that you use?
We are pretty much married in many ways to PPG. Just been using them from day one. They've been really good to us over the years. There are other wonderful products out there. The Buick we recently painted that went on to win the Slonaker Award at the Grand National was a Sherwin-Williams paint job. So we made a color in Sherwin-Williams and used that product and had great success with it as well. There's a lot of good products out there.
I didn't even know
that. Pick one and learn how to use it.
I didn't know that Sherwin-Williams made car paint.
I didn't either. I'm thinking that's what I use on my house, but never thought about the car.
Yeah, but Randy doesn't put it on with a roller.
I use brushes.
There's times I put primer on with a roller.
God.
So, well, you just mentioned something, and let me see if we can expand a little bit on that. You made a paint, you made a color, and I know that what inspires you to some of these colors. I know a while back you created a color called Perlot, and I think it must have been like right at the end of the bottle of Merlot. You had a little bit left in the glass. But
and dropped some pearl in it, right?
So what inspires you to create some of the colors you do?
A lot of times it's the customer's request, or we're taking a factory color and just modernizing it with a different metallic, or I'll use a pearl instead of a metallic. So it's reminiscent of the original color, but has a more vibrant and, in my opinion, a more repairable product is the end result. So you get a color that looks bright and clean and sparkles real nicely in certain lights, but yet when you have to fix it, you can. And that can be tricky with some of these colors these days, particularly on the OEM level. A lot of these colors, they've even gone to 4-stage paints now, where the color of the sealer under the color also affects the final color. So if you spray it over too light or too dark of a sealer, you'll never get the same color.
Okay.
So it can be tricky, and quite honestly, I don't miss having to match those type of finishes.
Yeah.
And that's why I make my own, because I can make it myself and match it myself.
Because you have you know what your recipe is. Yeah.
Correct.
I remember when GM came out with the Diamond White. What a nightmare that was for body shops to match.
Some of these colors, like the champagnes that were on the Suburbans and Tahoes forever, there'd be 15 or 20 or 25 variants on one paint coat. And how do you determine which one it is? It's tricky. I don't envy the painters in the collision shops.
Does because what I always had everybody refer to. Does the WA number truly identify the recipe they used, or is that
it identifies the main color, and then from there are multiple variants usually, and you have to determine, is it lighter, darker, lighter flop, darker flop, redder, greener, bluer? All those things play into it. And as I've been told by my friends at PPG, a lot of that is a factor of how little time the OEM spends cleaning out the lines that the paint travels through when they're painting cars or trucks. You know, they'll pull up a tanker truck of a color and paint, I don't know, say 100 pickup trucks. And then the next, say they're painting it black. And then the next run is this champagne color. Well, they may only allow 5 seconds to flush out those lines, and there's going to be residual color left in there, and that affects the next batch of color. So it can be very complicated in trying to match these things.
And when you mention flop, you know, for our listeners, flop is kind of how the color changes depending on your angle of view and the type
Correct.
of light that's on it.
Well,
So
it's a round edge or a sharp edge on the vehicle.
and it's the reflection of the material, the metal flake or the pearl that's in there. And sometimes that flop done differently can actually be a different color depending on the angle of light.
Yeah, we've all seen them going down the highway. You see a car that passes you, and from one angle it looks fine, and as soon as it passes you, all of a sudden the fender is a whole different color. Well, that's because at a different angle the light is refracted differently, and you get what we call a flop difference, and that's what happens. And it can be hard to manage. The difference between a metallic and a pearl, for example, is light bounces off of metallic, let's say like a mirror, where light passes through a pearl. So there's reflection versus refraction, and that's where pearls get that glowing effect. And I use a lot of pearls in my colors because I like how it affects the shadow side, the light side, and you get a real nice clean sparkle out of it without so much of the flop problems you get out of metallics.
What is your favorite color?
Don't have one. The next one.
The next one. Okay.
So
Well,
what is your next color?
We just sprayed a dark pearl blue. The next one, as silly as it sounds, is plain white.
Oh, okay.
Not a pearl, just solid white.
Refrigerator
We've
white.
got a 68 Cutlass. It's going to be white. And
Oh, thank you.
as boring as it sounds, even white can be tricky.
Well, I found that out through our good friend over at Sweet Rides, and the fact that he was beside himself when I told him I wanted the car painted white. He said, the Corvair. He said, what? I said, yeah, I want it the brightest color I can find. Well, I don't know of a brighter color than white. And so, and you know, so that's what we did. We put some great big black racing stripes on it, and it worked great. I got exactly what I was looking for.
But white has its variation of, I'll call it color shade, because I've watched people mix white, you know, and they're adding a little bit of yellow or they're adding a little bit of blue in it to create that variance in the white of the vehicle.
Or even white flops.
Yeah, and it takes very little to change white. 1 or 2 drops of blue or red in a quart of color just drops. It's a completely different color, and you'll never get it right if you don't know that you added that.
Well, I'm going to have to come over and see your 68 Cutlass. Because if I saw it on the trailer, you had posted a picture of it. Looks like it was a convertible as well. Is that correct?
We bought it. I had to go to Phoenix to find this car. The car we're starting with was just a rust bucket. Even the frame was rusted to the point where it wasn't safe. So I found a car in Arizona and drove north of Phoenix to pick it up and bring it back. And here's the sacrilege of it. The car we bought is truly a rust-free 442, but we're going to make it into a Cutlass. So we're going the other direction.
Wow.
You know, most people would take a Cutlass and make a fake 442.
Right.
But in this case, it was the best body I could find. It just happens to actually be a 442. But the customer wants a Cutlass because that's what they drove in college, and they're replacing a car they had in the past. That has good memories.
My brother had a 69 Cutlass, and I had a 71 Olds. just standard olds.
So do you have any plans on this car making a couple of shows on its way through your hands?
I'm sure it will. They all tend to get that experience once they're done. It'll be the typical, somewhat of a resto mod. My phone's ringing. I don't know if you can still see me or not.
Yep, we can see.
Yeah,
it.
there you are.
Little vibrations.
Anyway, it's getting an Art Morrison chassis, an LS3 that will be dressed to look like an Oldsmobile engine.
Oh, cool.
4L70 automatic overdrive. Just kind of the standard treatment on these muscle cars, but it'll make it a much better car.
You'll make it a driver.
And that's what they intend to do, and it will be built to do that.
Very good.
Sounds like fun.
Yeah.
So, what color was the C3 Corvette, that blue Corvette? What color did you create for that?
It is a dark pearl blue. Can I flip the camera around on this? I can
Yeah.
walk out there.
Go for it. Yeah.
Let me figure out if there's a way to do it here. I found it. All right, here we go. Into the shop we go. It's got the wide fender kit.
Nice.
We just finished blacking out the engine bay. And the engine will be orange, so it'll really stand out. But
Oh my
there's
gosh.
the color.
Wow.
Oh, wow.
That's beautiful.
Tell me that's not
It's
electric.
It's got the big hips, so it's going to be a neat one. Again, on a Morrison chassis, LS3. This one's a 5-speed manual, so it'll be fun.
And what year is that, Randy?
68, I'm sorry.
68.
Yeah, 68. This is one we painted a while back. It's an all original, one owner, 6,000 miles
Nice.
on a little 280Z.
Why did you paint it with only that few
It just-
miles on it?
It just needed a freshening up. The paint had aged its lacquer it was painted back in the lacquer days.
Yep.
And we wanted to put a modern finish on it, but it's the original color. We didn't make the color. We just pulled up the paint code and sprayed what Datsun put on them.
Gotcha.
Was that
But
the Mopar you just kind of panned over? Is that Moulin Rouge?
I call it Ransbury.
Ransbury.
But there was a specific color for the pink Mopars. It's a name
Yeah,
for
but
it.
they
it wasn't
had
metallic.
Panther pink, I
Panther
think they
pink.
called
That's
it.
what it was.
So this one's, again, another interpretation of a factory color, but with our spin on it. But with Mopars, you can do this. They're the only company who can get away with this color on.
Cool. So yeah, you don't
And,
have you don't
there's
need,
the-
you don't have a
There's the Cutlass.
a standard color that you roll in and out of. You are any color works for you. You just want to make it yours.
I have a question, Randy. On that Corvette, you've got plastic covering that vehicle when you spray. You were blacking out the engine compartment. You said you got plastic. Is it plastic or paper to tape off and mask off? What is preferred, and why both?
We use a combination. In a collision shop, they probably just use plastic because it's made to accept the overspray, and you just cut it out with a razor blade, right next to where you're spraying, and then just mask it and spray. But in our world, I like to use paper next to where I'm painting, and then the plastic just covers the rest of the vehicle.
For any kind of overspray or whatever.
Exactly.
So
And
what is the
we
advantage
spend
of the paper
we
right
spend
there?
a lot of time masking because we can't have overspray, and we paint everywhere, so you're always protecting something.
Yeah. Cool.
So
Good looking.
Well, what fun.
it is fun. It's a lot of work, and I would say the main difference between this and what we'll call just a normal paint job or an OEM paint job is probably just the amount of product that's put on.
Yeah.
Wow.
Not only from a paint standpoint, but there's body filler involved. You're going to prime it and block sand it multiple times, and the color part, the actual blue, 3 or 4 coats, just like the OEM, no big deal. All you want to do is establish the color.
Is it
But the
1
clear
gallon
coat-
or is it 1 gallon or 4 gallons it takes to cover that car the way you want it?
In this case, less than 1.
Less than 1.
This color covers very well. The Roadrunner, the Ransbury color, it took quite a bit more because it's a somewhat translucent, so it took more coats to get
More
even
pearl.
coverage. But this one covered really well.
And then how much
but-
clear will you put over the top?
In this case, I've got 6 coats of clear, where in the OEM world, you might have 2 at most.
Wow. And the 2 that they put on sometimes looks like they put it on with a roller, because I know that's always been one of the complaints about OEM paints is the orange peel effect.
Yes, sir, and that's why we put so much on, because we're going to take a lot of it back off.
Yeah,
We essentially block sand the clear coat before we polish it to get that mirror finish.
You've got a couple of empty spots in that shop. You looking for more projects?
No, I'm not. Not right now. We are blessed and busy, and just trying to get some of them to leave, quite honestly.
But it looks like you got 4 of them that are in the process of paint, or you just finished paint.
So when's that Corvette?
Go ahead.
When's that Corvette due out?
It'll probably be out midsummer. We're building the chassis right now. We're putting it back together after paint and powder coat, and the engine will go in. We'll do a photo shoot with the chassis, and then we can marry the body and the chassis back together, and it goes to upholstery.
Is it a SEMA plan?
I think so. Yeah, we'll have it out there. I'm not sure with whom yet, but the goal would be to show it off out there and good guys, that kind of stuff.
Very cool.
Yeah, because you've had quite a bit of success at SEMA through the last few years, being Battle of the Builders, and I don't see that they did it last year with your was it you brought the Ranchero out, didn't you? I didn't see a Battle of the Builders last year.
There was a Battle of the Builders. I don't think it got the publicity that it has in years past. Don't know why, but it just didn't seem to get the airplay or the marketing, perhaps. I'm not sure.
Yeah, never heard
the reasoning
about
was
it.
there.
Yeah.
But it did happen.
Cool.
And was the Ranchero part of it?
That was 2019. The Ranchero was Battle of the Builders.
How cool.
Right the year before COVID.
Nice to get that recognition from your peers.
Oh, indeed. I mean, it's quite the purest form of judging, I think. Without politics and favoritism, it's guys who know what they're looking at, and girls, look and letting you explain your build, your reasoning, your creative ideas, so you get to share it with them versus them just blindly judging it and looking how much dust you forgot to wipe off.
and they know what you're talking about when you explain it to them.
Well, exactly. Randy, and they can appreciate the details and what it took to make some of those small things that most people wouldn't see.
Well, Randy, we hate to cut you short, but we've got it's great to talk to you as always, and thank you for taking the time to talk to us on this Saturday.
Yeah, you're welcome. I'm going to go back and take a nap.
All right, brother.
Thanks.
I'll be right there with you about 2 hours. Take care, Randy.
Right,
see you later. Randy Borcherding with Paint House. All right. We'd love to hear from you. You can always shoot us an email. The address here is info@inwheeltime.com. Time now for This Week in Auto History, and Conrad has that.
The year was 1900, and the British royal family received their first motor car, a Daimler Mail Phaeton. Not too impressive of a car, but for the royal family to take it, it had a pretty good following in its day. In 1920, Walter Chrysler resigned from General Motors. Chrysler had led the Buick division to record sales, and he also served as an executive vice president for production for GM. He sold his stock in General Motors worth $10 million when he left the company, and then went on to start Chrysler Corporation, and all of the conglomerate that has become through the years. In 1970, Buddy Baker, driving a 1969 Dodge Charger Daytona, became the first person to break the 200-mile-an-hour closed-circuit record. He did that at Talladega in one of the Winged Warriors. In 1968, the annual New York International Auto Show opened its doors to the public. And what was the star of the show?
The Serve 1.
The Corvette prototype, the mid-engine prototype that they showed, which was the XP880. The father of the Corvette, Zoro Duntov, designed the car hoping to create a production model of a mid-engine V8 Corvette, and this was the one that they showed at the New York Auto Show. And now, I think looking back, Zorro would be quite proud of the C8 and the iterations of the C8 that are out there. In 1998, German automaker BMW bought Rolls-Royce for $570 million.
These are the guys that are in charge of the check engine light on Jag.
That's them. That's them. Well, they all need to be taken out and
Checked engine.
whipped.
Yeah.
Beat with a stick. In 2008, Ford Motor Company announced the sale of its Jaguar and Land Rover division to Tata Group, one of India's oldest and largest business conglomerations. So you could always say that Jaguar and Land Rover are nice Tatas.
Let me hear it, Jeff.
No.
In 2009, Rick Wagner, the chairman of General Motors, and at that time in 2009, GM was in a lot of trouble. He resigns at the demand of the Obama administration. During Wagner's time of more than 8 years at the top job at General Motors, the company lost billions of dollars, and 2008 was surpassed by Toyota as the world's largest selling maker of cars.
Way to go,
trucks.
Rick.
Yeah, way to go,
Rick.
And then Mary Barra was given the job based on the Obama administration recommendations.
Given the job.
And she said, hey, you think Wagner lost him a lot of money? Hold my beer and watch this. And GM, that was the time I was involuntarily separated from GM.
Involuntarily separated.
GM has virtually collapsed since then. So don't let the government run your business. And that is this week in auto history.
Terrific. Thank you, sir. Auto news. Shall we do a few?
Do a few.
Do the thing that you do so well, Don.
Okay.
Do that voodoo that you do.
Let's see, 54. Well, let's do this. Ford is again increasing the price of some models of its F-150 Lightning electric pickup, with the base model now starting at $61,869, including shipping, up about 50% over the initial starting price when the truck was launched 1 year ago. Wow. Price hike comes as the automaker reopens retail order banks for current reservation holders, resumes vehicle shipments, and returns to full production at its Rouge Electric Vehicle Center following a February battery fire.
Yeah, they had to pay for the new fire suppression system.
Ford said the price changes are a result of current material costs, market factors, and supply chain constraints. The company restarted Lightning production on a limited basis last month, after a 5-week pause as it sorted out the battery issue, which led to a recall for 18 of its vehicles.
So Lightning does strike twice.
General Motors plans to phase out widely used Apple CarPlay and Android Auto technologies. Did you hear that? You want me to repeat that?
Widely used, so let's cancel it.
General
right?
Motors plans to phase out Apple CarPlay and Android Auto that allow drivers to bypass a vehicle's infotainment system, shifting instead to built-in infotainment systems developed with Google for future electric vehicles and to spy on you.
That's right.
Apple CarPlay and Android Auto systems allow users to mirror their smartphone screens in a vehicle's display on the dash. GM's decision to stop offering those systems in future EVs, starting with the 2024 Chevrolet Blazer, could help the automaker capture more data on how consumers drive and charge EVs. GM plans to offer Apple CarPlay and Android Auto mirroring systems in its combustion models. Owners of vehicles equipped with mirroring technologies will still be able to use the systems. GM is designing the onboard navigation and infotainment systems for future EVs in partnership with Alphabet Incorporated's Google.
Because so many other things they've done like this have worked so well, they're going to take Apple CarPlay.
I find just a little bit of bitterness in your voice.
Yeah,
when you say things like
just
that.
a little.
I think it's the delay in starting. He's like all wound up.
Yes. Yeah.
Your meds
Most
are kicking
definitely.
in, aren't they?
Well, I was going to ask Randy if he knew why all the white paint peeled off of the GM trucks.
Mary Barra is aiming for $20 billion to $25 billion in annual revenue from subscriptions by 2030. So not only are they going to spy on you, then they're going to sell you all the stuff in the computer.
Oh, subscriptions. I thought you said prescriptions.
Well,
here, take this and buy a GM vehicle. Sorry.
And like it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, is there anything else that you want to get off your chest? Just one.
Always is.
I
Always
know.
is.
Hey, if you'd like to get in touch with us, shoot us an email. The address here is info@inwheeltime.com. And take a quick break, and we're right back with hour number 2 of our late in the afternoon show on In Wheel Time.
Mecum Auctions, the world's largest collector car auction company, returns to Houston, April 13th through 15th at NRG Center. Featuring 2,000 muscle cars, Corvettes, exotics, customs, and more. Broadcast live on Motor Trend TV and Motor Trend Plus. From avid collectors to those new to the Mecum experience, we welcome everyone. Register to bid now at Mecum.com.
You own a car you love. Well, why not let Gulf Coast Auto Shield protect it? Houstonian John Gray invites you to his state-of-the-art facility to introduce you to his specialist team of auto enthusiasts. We promise you'll be impressed. Whether you're looking to massage your original paint to a like-new appearance, apply a ceramic coating, install a paint protection film, nano-ceramic window tint, or new windshield protection called ExoShield, Gulf Coast Auto Shield is where Houston's car people go. Curbed your wheels? Instead of buying new, why not have them repaired? How about a professionally installed radar detector? Gulf Coast Auto Shield does that too. Get a peek inside the shop and look at the services offered by getting online and heading to gcautoshield.com. Better yet, stop by their facility at 11275 South Sam Houston Tollway, just south of the Southwest Freeway, and get a personal tour. Gulf Coast Auto Shield is your place to go for all things exterior. Call them today, 832-930-5655 or gcautoshield.com. Tailpipes and Tacos, Houston's premier car cruise-in returns Saturday, April 15th to the Lupi Tortilla Tex-Mex in Katy, 8 to 11 a.m. Bring your Hot Rod Classic, Restomod, or any other vehicle you'd like to show and compete for one of 3 highly coveted Chili Pepper trophies. This April 15th kickoff event is one you'll want to put on your calendar because 100% of the money you donate for the free tacos will be given to God's Garage. You heard right, free tacos. Whatever you decide to give, all of it will be given to God's Garage and matched by Lupi Tortilla. God's Garage gifts vehicles to single mothers, widows, and wives of deployed military in the greater Houston area. In fact, the Garage will gift a vehicle to a mom in need at this special event. Be sure to attend the next Tailpipes and Tacos Cruise-In, Saturday, April 15th, 8 to 11 a.m. at the Lupi Tortilla Tex-Mex in Katy on the Grand Parkway at Kingsland Boulevard, just south of I-10. Free breakfast tacos for any donation to God's Garage. It'll make your heart and your belly feel good.
It's the In Wheel Time Car Talk Show. Coming up, it's our favorite Texas State Trooper, Sergeant Stephen Woodard from the Texas Department of Public Safety.
He's the only one we know.
You?
Well, no, I've met quite a few of them, but Sergeant Woodard's the only one I truly know by name. The rest of them
wrote you tickets.
The rest of them are yes, officer.
Several of them.
Well, Conrad's used to the words assume the position.
Yes, officer.
From more than, never mind.
There you go.
Conrad has the racing calendar and the car clinic. We'll also have the stories making automotive news headlines this week, all straight ahead on this edition of the In Wheel Time Car Talk Show. Hello there. Along with Mike Out of This World Mars, King Conrad DeLong. We need more Jeff Seekin. I'm Don Armstrong. Thank you so much for joining us. Look who's showed up. And look, he's sporting a new haircut.
Yep.
And he's actually in an office or a room somewhere. It's not in his car. It's, ladies and gentlemen, Sergeant Stephen Woodard from the Texas State Troopers conglomerate over there at the Department of Public Safety. How did I do?
Thank you. How you doing? You did really good. You better than normal.
Yeah. Yeah.
There's nothing normal about
I'm just going to
Don.
say there's nothing normal about me, and you know that.
That's it. Hey, fellas, we got a lot going on within the area. We got this Final Four going on. What y'all think about that?
Well,
yeah.
It would have been a lot better if a couple of Texas teams had been in it, don't
that's kind
you?
of what I'm thinking.
It's good for Houston to bring an event like that to town, but I imagine it's a lot of work for your crew. You know.
Yeah. As a matter of fact, we have guys and gals out there assisting the Houston Police Department and the other agencies with their functions. But man, we just have a lot going on, Mr. Mars. Have you guys heard the news over in Austin? How we're now going to go over, as a matter of fact, starting today, to assist the Austin Police Department with their traffic problem. You know, it's not uncommon for racers to just take over, and Don knows it better than all of us from coverage, but it's not uncommon for individuals just to take over a roadway. And we have it somewhat handled here in the area, but man, in Austin, it's pretty bad. So the governor has mandated us to go over and assist the city of Austin to try to help get things under control. Have y'all heard that?
Yeah, I heard that they actually have regular people that are volunteering to go to traffic accidents to try and gather all of that information and not have to dispatch a live officer that are busy doing other things. And I thought that was kind of odd because I would think at a traffic accident, you could kind of walk into a bit of a angry situation between the two participants of the accident, and then they just send a regular citizen into the midst of it to document everything.
Yeah. Well, when you show up to an accident scene, perfect is, hey, how are you doing? My name is Trooper Woodard. Do you have your information? Yes. Do you have your information? Yes. What happened? He did it. Did you do it? I did it. Thank you. Bye. Well, it's not like that anymore. Yeah. Because, if me and the king, we get into a crash, everybody's pointing fingers at each other, and now I have to figure out what happened. Well, in Austin, people are actually just leaving the scene. And again, these street takeovers with the racers and celebratory gunfire, it's just unfortunate. And hey, that's what we do as state troopers. We go down and assist to make sure that our border is secure as much as we can to combat the illegal drug trade, human trafficking, etc. When there was a problem here in Houston, we helped out our friends in Houston here with the crime reduction efforts, and we're doing the same in Austin.
Well,
that's just what we do, Don.
I have to tell you something that I will tell you that I have participated. We didn't call them street takeovers at the time. We just called them Chinese fire drills, and I don't know whether you're familiar with that, and I wouldn't imagine it would be an illegal thing to do. Are you familiar with the Chinese fire drill?
Everybody gets out of the car.
Everybody runs around the car, gets back in the car, and you go on your own merry way. No, I didn't say anything about clothes on or off or anything like that.
Sure.
Yeah. I don't know what part of town you're in.
The mooning days.
The mooning.
Yeah.
The mooning.
But a lot of times, you're referred to as the highway patrol. There's a highway patrol running traffic, whatever. But you're really the state police, and so that's kind of where you get to about going to Austin, going to the border. That's how come you become involved in all these things.
Well, Brother Mars, that's interesting you mentioned that because no one's ever looked at it that way except us. You look at this patch that myself and 300 plus troopers across the state that we wear, and it says the Highway Patrol. But you're right, it's more shifting towards a state police entity, which is fine. I mean, let's get this straight. The majority of us, if not all, are living childhood dreams, just like you guys. But the function has changed a little bit, and it's a good thing because whenever we can help out, our citizens in the state of Texas, and when I can make this place a safer place for my friends like you guys and my neighbors and my family, hey, I'm all in. Count me in.
Okay. So let's go back to the street racing because I'm kind of curious about that.
The street takeovers.
Street takeovers, not just street racing. To me, takeover is even worse.
Yes.
So the way I understand it, it's a whole group of people. They block the road and do whatever it is they're going to do. I guess it started at the intersections. But how do you and your team get involved in helping to stop that? I can see processing it after it starts, but are you able to get involved with trying to head it off?
Yeah. So and that's how we basically seized that Hellcat, which, by the way, we have to do a remote or something this summer. I need to get somebody in that Hellcat that's on this dais right now. We need to take it over to the track in Brazoria County, and we need to give it a spin. Can we set that up, Brother Mark?
I'll volunteer.
Well, no. Well, let's wait a minute. We know Don can't do it because somebody has to be in studio. Mars, you're the puppet master, so I only got 2 left.
Mars has too many warrants out, so you.
Well, but not in Brazoria County.
Oh,
we're
making sure.
Brazoria County,
Brazos County. That's what it is.
Whatever.
We'll figure it out. I'm dead serious, Don. We have to do some type of remote and get a turnaround. Maybe we can package something together on racing or whatever with this program and get somebody on our dais in that Hellcat.
I got a 16-year-old granddaughter learning how to drive. Her mother and her grandmother are teaching her how to drive.
Show from over there.
Okay, so I've got an idea. There's a YouTube video that was taken from the Channel 13 chase that I was involved with in a helicopter.
Very familiar.
From Houston over to Winnie. It's got like 75 million views with me and Mike Silman in tow on that deal. That was interesting.
Yeah, I think
we'll figure it out. So back to that street takeover stuff. So they want us to, when I say they, the district attorney's office, they want us to observe the actual action, 2 cars side by side, getting ready to or competing in a competitive race. Once we observe that, of course, it's not like it used to be back in the day to where only DPS had cameras in their cars. Everybody has a camera. So once that's videotaped, we have it on file, then we stop those individuals and the rest is made. The seizure comes in later, and that's another story. Now, when you're talking about a street takeover, number one, not only is that dangerous, but that's insane. So you have individuals that are literally lining up across our interstate, and they're just taking over the roadway to where no one can pass. Typically, these individuals are intoxicated, they're impaired on some type of drug, and it's just a nuisance, not only a danger for the entire community. So we do the same thing. We get that on video. We get them all stopped, based on an organized flank, if you will, with the law enforcement officers. And next thing you know, we're driving down to the Harris County Jail or wherever we are at that time.
Yep.
So do you guys have people embedded in their crew providing you with intelligence of the when, where, what time, and what location that might be going? And I realize
that's happened. That's happened. I know the Houston Police Department has had some individuals, and our DPS agents, we've had individuals following these crews or within the crowd of the crew. But that's like tonight. And it's no secret. Hopefully this is deterrent. That's like tonight for the Final Four festivities or any festivity. I mean, you see the law enforcement guys walking around in this, but there's always some guy, that could be just a normal guy, dressed like King or whoever, and they're in the crowd. And they're feeding intel, of course, to the folks in the operations center. So it's a well-orchestrated event.
Well, I know you and your team in coordination with HPD did an excellent job of kind of shutting down the silliness that was happening in Houston in late March, early May with the TX2K event with all the street stuff that was going on. And then eventually they took all of that to the track and very much minimized what was happening on the street because you guys did a great job of being out there in force and being visible. And they took it to the track and kept it at the track. So.
A big thanks to Sergeant Stephen Hemphill, who's a sergeant out of the Katy area. He is one of the main catalysts for that enforcement program. Of course, all of our friends at the Houston Police Department, their traffic unit, Precinct 5, the Harris County Constable's Office, Precinct 5, and a wealth of others. People don't realize that these officers, they go out, number one, to be a voluntary compliance. Hopefully, individuals seeing the influx of officers out, that'll extinguish, but that doesn't happen. And that's neither here nor there. But we did go out, and I described it to someone the other day as if turning off a faucet on your actual faucet connection outside. I mean, literally, we turned it off.
Yeah.
And again, fellas, it reduces, number one, not only other crimes, it makes the roadway safe for you and I and our families. And again, it keeps the traffic flow. So,
Well, hold on just a minute here because I've got a special request that I wanted to play for you.
Here we go.
Whenever the laws of any state are broken, the duly authorized organization swings into action. It may be called the state police, state troopers, militia, the Rangers, or the highway patrol.
Brought a tear to his
These
eye.
are the
Look at
stories
that.
of the men whose training, skill, and courage have enforced and preserved our state laws.
And you're gonna make me do another 20 years.
So there you have it. There's the open for Broderick Crawford starring in The Highway Patrol.
Highway Patrol.
Hey, listen to this. Broderick Crawford was born on December 9th in 1911, and he passed away on April 26, 1986. Tomorrow is Jack Webb's birthday,
Yeah, he
Ah, I gotta-
1920.
Dragnet.
Dragnet. And he passed away December 23rd of 82.
So
Man, Don, you have more than just. I mean, these guys are historians.
listen
These
here.
guys need a raise.
That's exactly right. And,
We just
they've
try
been
to be hysterical.
Dude, they've been trying to drag me into school for all these years, and I keep fighting it all the way. It's all on them.
Yeah,
I wanted to.
I think we all have.
Yeah, I wanted to talk to you just briefly about April being Distracted Driving Awareness Month. Oh, my God, it couldn't come at a more perfect time. I cannot even begin to tell you the people that I see on cell phones. I'm thinking, is this person asleep here at the light? Because the light's been green for 10 seconds, and you don't dare honk anymore for fear of getting shot.
Sure.
So,
sure.
I'm thinking, well, maybe I could just take that Bronco and the huge front bumper and just kind of push them on through the intersection.
I
with the
honk.
lights green.
I honk.
You honk?
Oh, I'm a New Yorker. You got to honk at somebody. Your car wouldn't pass state inspection in New York if the horn didn't work.
Distracted Driving Awareness Month. I'm aware. I don't need any more attention given to this. We need to get these people, please get off the dang cell phone.
Yeah, no kidding.
Well, there was a piece brought to us by the National Highway Safety Council, and it said if you're so distracted by the phone, one option is you can place the phone in the trunk. Or I'm thinking to myself, good grief, do we really have to tell folks to place their phones in the trunk of the vehicle? Look, guys, here's the deal. We know that distractions come in many forms. That distracted driving is simple. It's not focusing on the primary task at hand, which is driving. And the whole primary goal is to get from point A to B safely and really back from B to A. And those distractions, they pose, not only a great danger to you as the driver, but to our community. We're stopping folks. We're seeing people. I'm seeing people going. I seen a lady go down the road. This was during our holiday season last year. She's literally reading a book, a paperback book. I'm thinking to myself, good grief. But that's where we are right now. So it's going to be not only up to us to minimize the distractions, but it's going to be up to us as the average driver, the safe driver, to watch out for these folks. And we're campaigning this all over. Not only are we going to be doing it on some of our news outlets, but on radio, and we're going into our schools to remind those folks, hey, look, minimize your distractions.
I honk at them
somebody-
anyhow.
Yeah, you
just
see
to see if I
somebody
can get
reading
them
a
to
book.
undistract.
Do you actually stop somebody like that?
Yeah, if you're, and there is a law in the book. If you're distracted, we're going to have a talk, because at the end of the day, you're going to have a crash.
Oh yeah, no, I agree with you. I'm just curious what you could, because like Don said, if one of us honk or try and pull them over or get their attention, you're liable to get shot these days. But you come up there and say, "Hey, stupid," or I don't guess you can give them a ticket for
Being stupid. Yeah, you can.
You can't fix it either.
Or being a dumb
You
donkey.
can't call it that.
Yeah.
A dumb donkey.
Oh, boy.
Yeah.
Oh, my God. Here we go.
But anyway,
Well, with this campaign, it's all of our look. Somebody told me this last week. This was Monday. He said, Sergeant Woodard, I was in Brenham. He said, Sergeant Woodard, I appreciate your efforts and what you do for traffic safety. I said, brother, let's drop the Y and let's say all. Let's just drop the Y and say our rather. It's all of our responsibility. Right. And at the end of the day, we got to share this road. That's one thing that we share. We don't share each other's homes. We don't share our prized possessions. But one thing that we do share is the road. It's all of our responsibility to make sure that it's safe to travel.
Amen, brother. Mm-hmm. Well, are you working today?
I am out. I am going to cut it short here in a few. But Don, when you're doing something that you love, is it really work?
No, it's not.
Yeah.
No,
and you don't hardly
right.
ever take off.
I have a job and I enjoy it, so it's really not work.
That's all I'm saying, brother.
How's your son's football career moving along?
He's going, hey, tonight's prom. We'll see how that works out. We're taking it one step at a time. He's participating in the Texas relays and a shot put section and discus.
Wait, just a minute.
We're extremely proud of him.
Let's back up and talk about the prom. So, are you the designated driver to the prom tonight?
Don, are you serious?
See, he says that because.
Wish, but man, look, that's not going to happen.
Don says that because
we'll have our discussion here probably around maybe 5. Hey, man, we'll turn him loose and let him and his date enjoy themselves.
Well, good
trust,
for you.
And trust his good judgment.
Yeah, exactly.
I had two girls go to the prom, and I got 2 granddaughters fixing to go to the prom. I look at it a little differently than you with a son. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
Man, I thought you were going to say you had 2 girls for the prom. Good grief.
Yeah, that's it. Steve Woodard, it's always great to talk to you, my friend. Thanks so much for joining us. You have a great weekend.
Thank
Be
you.
safe out there.
Be safe.
Thanks, sir.
Thank you. I appreciate y'all, and thank you for being my friend. And, hey, you know I love y'all.
Love you too,
We're going to
man.
call you about that track date.
Yeah, the track
I'm ready.
date.
Let's set it up. I'm ready. I'm serious.
All right, you got it. Steve Woodard with the DPS. God bless him.
Yep.
Fun guy.
Always a good interview.
Yep. Hey, if you'd like to get in touch with us, shoot us an email. The address here is info@inwheeltime.com. The In Wheel Time race card is sponsored by Texas Nostalgia Modified Production. Conrad has the race card.
Right.
Well, we're not as a group happy with Erica's performance of late. She went out in the first round in a couple of events, and she's not happy either. She's posted on her social media that they've got a plan to correct that.
Well, there you go.
And they are going to be at the Winter Nationals in Pomona next weekend. Circuit of the Americas, I thought was a decent race this last weekend for
Didn't really pay
NASCAR. NASCAR is going to be at Richmond with the they have the what I call the look back cars, or the what do they call it?
Nostalgia cars?
Yeah, the nostalgia
Since
cars.
it is sponsored by.
When you can't spell nostalgia, you put look back.
Look back cars.
But they're going to have all of these paint schemes.
jobs.
Well, it's all wraps anymore, but of cars from back in the 60s and 70s. That's
Can we
always a
still
fun
call
time.
it paint jobs even though it's a wrap?
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yes. And then they're going to be at Bristol on the 9th of April, and then Martinsville on the 16th. First time they've been in Martinsville for quite a while. And Talladega on the 23rd, back at the Super Speedways. Azerbaijan Formula One is next weekend.
Jeff, for you.
Sweet. I love
Can
it.
you spell Azerbaijan?
Don't really care.
I just copy and pasted. I couldn't spell it if my life depended on it.
A-Z.
Whatever.
And then-
B-E-R-Z.
B-A-I-J-A-N.
I don't
Okay.
think
So, and then-
I'm not saying it.
And then Grand Prix of Miami, where they have
Oh, that's going to be fun.
fake rivers and fake boats around the Grand Prix
Yeah,
circuit,
that's great.
thinking that you're actually in.
Fake rivers and fake boats? What are you talking
He
about?
doesn't know
Well,
what's
when you last year when they did the Grand Prix of Miami, some of the infield was painted to look like a waterway,
Oh.
and some of the terraces looked like the back of a boat, and people were sitting in kind of like going to Monaco at Formula One, and all these people would be around the race course in their yachts.
Okay.
So they tried to duplicate that in Miami. And then IMSA, and that's Long Beach, is on the 15th of April. And friend of the show, Alec Udell, will be there at Long Beach as well. And then he'll be at Laguna Seca on the 14th, which is truly the one place I would love to go for a ride, is Laguna Seca. Just because that's such an iconic course. And I want to go through the corkscrew and scream like a 7-year-old girl going down the
You
roller
did that this
coaster.
morning coming into the show. Yeah.
We did
that's
do
what I
that.
thought.
And then IndyCar, that's this weekend this weekend up at Fort Worth, Texas.
Yep.
And that's always pretty fast. And then that's this
Race
upcoming
card.
race card.
Yeah. All right. Here's the question that we've all been pondering for decades, and that would be how to find a barn find.
Okay.
Jeff has the answer.
Well, I'm going to get Conrad started here. Conrad, I was
So
going to
you're
do
looking
hit
at
the space
barn.
bar.
Yeah, you're gonna let him do
I'll
that?
let him do it.
Oh, God.
So
my
these
God.
days, we use the term barn find to describe any found automotive treasure that's been hidden away for a long time. But it doesn't have to be stuffed in a literal barn or anything like that to find a car or truck. Field found cars and trucks are numerous, and there are some real treasures out there waiting to be saved from eventual ruin. Geography plays a role For example, cars left outside in Arizona are going to fare better than cars left in a place like Michigan or on the East Coast.
Right.
You would think that by now the hidden treasures are all found. There are stories from time to time of some cool car being buried in a garage, sitting in a field, or hiding in an actual barn. Many of these cars aren't super rare or in great shape, but every once in a while you truly find one that is a buried treasure. They're still out there, so keep looking, people. The country's big enough that there's hiding spots all over the place, treasures at every little corner, and it's the thrill of the hunt. Most times a single vehicle, but not always, you can find collector cars. Passionate gearheads, such as the horde of Pontiac Trans Am Conrad that was found in Kansas. Barn finds are not committed to agricultural structures from which they are named. Barn find. The key is to look in locations that have large amounts of area to absorb a car or a truck. The properties haven't been changed hands in decades, and in an area where the cars used to go, don't go anymore. Today, that could mean warehouses, storage lots, the top or bottom floor of a parking garage, retirement communities, or even a private airplane hangar. We know some folks like that. And, of course, the dirty field, out in the field. Keep in mind that certain geographic regions are more target-rich than others. Check this out. Considering looking in a 20-mile radius of a drag strip, a racetrack, a military base, or an automotive assembly plant. That's where you're going to find them.
Oh,
An assembly plant.
And it's automotive
See, I never
assembly
thought
plant.
that.
Yeah.
Some of the greatest finds have been in some of the salvage yards in and around Detroit, because as the manufacturers would dispose of some of their old show cars, these cars were parked in some of these salvage yards in and around Detroit that were later found and restored.
Yep.
So that'd always be a great place to look. But there was just recently a big story about RSSS 396 Camaro, 69 Camaro that was found. That was part of a family-owned thing, just been sitting in a garage forever.
I got some cars that were sold by Hemmings Marketplace last week, and thought we'd go over a few of these.
Okay.
How about a 1956 Chevrolet 210 Nomad?
29.4.
You cheated.
I looked at your sheet.
Damn it.
I love the car, though.
72 Jeep Commando.
Oh, that was the wagon, the pickup truck version.
Yeah, kind of like a
Grand Wagoneer.
Bronco kind of thing.
36.
Sold for
17.
$26,250.
Yeah.
31 Ford Model A, $10,250 is what it sold for.
Original, right?
Yep. 64 Studebaker Avanti. No, it's all fixed up.
Wow.
Yeah.
A 64 Studebaker Avanti.
A 31 Model A Ford. I think that's what Mike is referring to. The 64 Studebaker Avanti sold for $24,413.
Cool car.
That's an ugly car.
Cool car.
Okay. 82 GMC Sierra square body, but it's a step side. Sold for $12,000.
That's a lot.
That's a little for that.
Well,
Those,
depending on the
step side.
shape.
yeah, but those
condition.
square bodies are drawing big bucks now.
1975 Chrysler
Step
Imperial LeBaron. Remember that?
Yeah, what a boat.
It was a huge boat.
It wouldn't fit in your garage.
$6,600, Jeff.
Did it have Corinthian leather?
Rich Corinthian
Rich.
leather.
2012 Fisker Karma.
Uh-oh.
An interesting car. It looks like it's got an old-fashioned mustache on the front of it. 31.5 was the price.
You know that's an EV, right?
The Fisker is now.
2012.
I think it was
Fisker.
an EV back then.
I don't know.
Had the in the roof. It had the solar panel in the roof.
Yeah.
Here's my find. This is what I would like to have. A 1956 Ford car carrier, like $48,300, similar to the Snake and Mongoose car
Rollback.
carriers.
A fancy rollback.
Kind of, but it didn't roll back. You just had the ramps that pulled out.
Yeah.
72 GMC Sierra, 14,175, and it's a fleet side.
Okay.
46 Lincoln Continental. This is for you.
All right.
And it's maroon, and it's sold for $47,775.
Whoa.
There you go.
Surprised that hadn't been used up by some lead sled hot rod or
Tubbed out by some knucklehead.
or or Gene Winfield.
I got a birthday coming up, Conrad.
The In Wheel Time Car Talk show is available 24/7 through the iHeartRadio app. Just look for In Wheel Time Car Talk. We also video stream on Facebook, YouTube, and InWheelTime.com. Podcasts at your fingertips on over a dozen of the most popular podcast outlets. The In Wheel Time Car Talk show continues right after this. Oh, maybe not so. How about this?
Push the right button,
Tailpipes and
Don.
Tacos, Houston's premier car cruise in.
Wait, I didn't like the way it started, so let's do that again.
Tailpipes and Tacos, Houston's premier car cruise in returns Saturday, April 15th to the Lupi Tortilla Tex-Mex in Katy, 8 to 11 a.m. Bring your Hot Rod Classic, Resto Mod, or any other vehicle you'd like to show and compete for one of 3 highly coveted Chili Pepper trophies. This April 15th kickoff event is one you'll want to put on your calendar because 100% of the money you donate for the free tacos will be given to God's Garage. You heard right, free tacos. Whatever you decide to give, all of it will be given to God's Garage and matched by Lupi Tortilla. God's Garage gifts vehicles to single mothers, widows, and wives of deployed military in the greater Houston area. In fact, the garage will gift a vehicle to a mom in need at this special event. Be sure to attend the next Tailpipes and Tacos Cruise In, Saturday, April 15th, 8 to 11 a.m. at the Lupi Tortilla Tex-Mex in Katy on the Grand Parkway at Kingsland Boulevard, just south of I-10. Free breakfast tacos for any donation to God's Garage. It'll make your heart and your belly feel good.
Mecum Auctions, the world's largest collector car auction company, returns to Houston. April 13th through 15th at NRG Center. Featuring 2,000 muscle cars, Corvettes, exotics, customs, and more. Broadcast live on Motor Trend TV and Motor Trend Plus. From avid collectors to those new to the Mecum experience, we welcome everyone. Register to bid now at Mecum.com.
You own a car you love. Well, why not let Gulf Coast Auto Shield protect it? Houstonian John Gray invites you to his state-of-the-art facility to introduce you to his specialist team of auto enthusiasts. We promise you'll be impressed. Whether you're looking to massage your original paint to a like-new appearance, apply a ceramic coating, install a paint protection film, nano-ceramic window tint, or new windshield protection called ExoShield, Gulf Coast Auto Shield is where Houston's car people go. Curbed your wheels? Instead of buying new, why not have them repaired? How about a professionally installed radar detector? Gulf Coast Auto Shield does that too. Get a peek inside the shop and look at the services offered by getting online and heading to gcautoshield.com. Better yet, stop by their facility at 11275 South Sam Houston Tollway, just south of the Southwest Freeway, and get a personal tour. Gulf Coast Auto Shield is your place to go for all things exterior. Call them today, 832-930-5655 or gcautoshield.com.
Live from the Sugar Shack in Sugar Land, Texas. It's the In Wheel Time Car Talk Show. Coming up, Jeff Yurgovich, Midwest Blue Oval Club, host of Thunder on the Mountain.
All right.
I think it's going to be some sort of religious experience, isn't it, Mike?
Could be. In the hot springs.
Hot tub. The hot tub time machine. Conrad will have the In Wheel Time Car Clinic, and I'll bring you this week's auto news. Howdy, along with Mike out of this world, Mars. King Conrad DeLong. We need more Jeff Zekin. I'm Don Armstrong. Thanks for joining us today.
The James Brown Celebrity Hot Tub. That was such a great skit. It's just a great skit.
Well, not only
Eddie Murphy at his best.
did you see the Hot Tub Time Machine movie?
Yep.
Oh my God, I laughed till I cried.
Mike, we need a hot tub. We need an in-wheel time.
We
hot
do.
Tub.
We
We need
need
one of those inflatable ones, and we can put it right here in the middle.
No, we're not.
Yeah, and the 4 of us sitting
Don't
in
say
it.
it.
No, I'll pass.
Don't say inflatable in front of Conrad.
I will be there, and I will be in it.
Bring your own inflatable.
I'll be smoking a cigar and having some of that zero alcohol champagne.
The brown water.
Oh, Texas brown water, the Texas tea.
Yeah. Black Gold, Texas tea. Well, the first thing. No, I'm sorry. Get off.
was a
Old
millionaire.
Don's a millionaire.
Uh,
The kin folks said, Don, get
Move
away from there.
Yeah, get
He
away from
said
here.
California
Here.
is a place you ought to be, so they loaded up the truck and moved to Beverly
Bring your own
Hills.
inflatable.
That is swimming pools,
Movie
with
stars.
You know that's back on MeTV now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Follows the Andy Griffith Show, and it's great.
We watch it.
Yeah. I would imagine that the ratings for those old shows are pretty good.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
We watched Andy Griffith every night and then always catch the Beverly Hillbillies.
Well, Mars, he likes Walton Mountain.
Yeah, it doesn't come on anymore on the channel that we watch.
Now you have to flip the channel now to find it.
Yes, you
yeah,
gotta find it.
Well, that's really.
You don't make your mom go up and change the channel on the TV, do
No,
you?
no, not anymore. She makes me go do that.
Oh,
That's why we watch a lot of stuff on the same channel.
Well, I was the remote control for my dad when I was a little kid. Didn't have remotes back then. Of
course not.
Get up and change the channel. Well, there's only 4 to choose from: ABC, NBC, CBS, and PBS. And I knew he wasn't watching PBS, so it was just moving between the big 3.
Well, here it was 2, 11, and 13. That's it.
Still is.
Well, not really, because all those VHF channels are going to go away. They're all going to be melded in up there to the UHF side. That will be happening.
Well, you'll still be able to catch them on Hulu, won't you?
Yeah. Oh, I love my Roku. Is what I have.
I need to talk to you about that too.
Why?
Because I got questions.
Well, there's no questions. Just get it, and you'll understand.
Well, I don't know that I want it.
How much cheaper is it?
lots.
Oh, are you kidding?
Well,
You know how much it cost me? $40 for the little stick that goes in the TV. And then I bought the Roku subscription, which is a whole mess of channels, for $5 a month. That's it.
Oh, really?
That is all.
It's a whole lot cheaper than what I'm paying
Yeah.
for Xfinity.
Yeah, and when they went to $265 for my Xfinity TV, that was it. That's it. I can't do it anymore. You know, I'm tired of getting bent over on my darn cable bill. And Leslie turned me on to the Roku thing.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't really know what to expect. I mean, I go to her apartment and, thumb through the channels that she had. But once I got it and I could really drill down into it, oh, my gosh. It's a whole nother world.
You know, that's all politically incorrect. Bend over and drill down.
Stop. He's on a roll.
You know, it's that pink shirt that he's wearing
so.
today. That's what it is. If you're listening in color, Conrad's wearing a pink shirt today.
Yes.
Do we have Mr. Yurgovich?
We're not going to have video. We're having an
That's
issue
all
with
right.
video, but I believe we've got him
Jeff
on audio.
Yurgovich, are you there?
I am. Thank you for having me.
Well, thank you. We can hear you just fine, and all is well on our end. Midwest Blue Oval Club, Thunder on the Mountain, Fords in Arkansas. And first of all, how's the weather? It's kind of an iffy part of the United States with all these tornadoes.
Well, the weather's been up and down, and typical for this time of year. It was 82 yesterday, and it's 40 today.
Yeah,
Oh,
well,
boy.
we're familiar with that, especially at this time of the year. It's 80 degrees, if not going closer to 90 here today. Thunder on the Mountain, Fords in Arkansas. Tell me about it.
That was one of our premier shows that we took over. This is an actual Mustang show that's been taking place for almost 40 years.
Oh, my.
We have been running this show for the last 10 years under the Midwest Blue Oval Club, which we are a nonprofit organization. So we're helping out the local community by having a car show here and having a good time doing it.
How many cars you expect?
We'll have somewhere close to 300.
Oh, wow.
And we've stretched this out from more than a one-day show. It's 5 days of events going on. A lot of driving activities, a lot of trivial cruises, a lot of activities throughout the day. Fuel mileage runs happen twice during this event. It's kind of been fun for everybody to stretch this out for more than a car show.
You got any 64 and a half Mustangs?
Do I? I do not.
No, but I mean,
I'm sure we'll have some at the show.
Yeah. I assume that you draw Fords from probably all over the United States.
We do get quite a few in. We're also affiliated with the Mustang Club of America.
Yeah.
2 years ago, we did a national show for them, which they only do 4 national shows a year. It was a huge success, and they're asking us to do another one for next year.
How fun. So when is this event going to take place?
This year, it takes place in June 24th, that weekend. It starts on a Thursday, and we run our activities through until Sunday.
That sounds like a ton of fun. We had one of those events here when Randy Weldon was in charge of, I guess, Northside Mustang Club, and I guess he was on the board or something.
Still is.
Is he?
Yeah.
And we had it here at the
Aviation Museum.
yeah, but
Ellington
it's
Field.
not Confederate Air Force. It's called the
Commemorative
Air Force. They changed the name of it. But anyway, it was a wonderful event. We got invited. We did a remote broadcast down there. It's right near Ellington Field now, which is close to NASA. So there was that influence on it.
Heck, they started up a B-17 bomber for us.
Yes, they did. It was quite impressive. And I would imagine that you guys have things like that in this event as well.
We do. There's we have the Thunder on the Mountain moment at noon during the car show, where everybody gets to start their car up and we roll and rumble a little thunder for a couple minutes
there. You go.
And that always gets everybody pretty excited.
Well, I know that if it were up to us, we'd have open headers up there, or just straight out of the head something.
We are in a resort community and a resort town that has a noise ordinance, but for those few moments that we're able to do that up there, they let us get by with it.
That's good. You don't have the state troopers standing by ready to arrest somebody, that's 80 years old like me.
No, they're all standing by waiting to look at the cars just like everybody else.
Yeah, I got you. What kind of car do you have?
I have a 67 Shelby GT350.
Oh, wow.
Nice. How long have you had that?
I've had it now for a little over 2 years. I'm finishing up the restoration on it. It's a pretty rare car. It's a factory supercharged car.
Oh,
and I
wow.
think there's
That's
only
an
about
extremely
32
rare
of those
car,
made.
How many?
32.
32.
There was a GT350R went through Mecum yesterday. It was red, and it went for $2.25, $225,000.
Wow. Well, are you going to have this done in time for the June event?
I believe we are. I'm actually going to do a national event with it in Albuquerque, New Mexico with the Mustang Club of America.
And when is that?
That will be the first week. It'll be June 10th, I believe, is when that takes place.
You want me to come up there and help you?
Oh, anytime. I could always use some polishing.
Yeah, polishing.
There you go.
Yeah, it's kind of
We'll
like.
put a rag in your hand. We'll put you to work.
Yeah.
That's not a
Hey,
problem.
Don. Here's the mop. You go mop the floor. We'll be good with you. Yeah, I got it.
Always something to clean.
Yes. Oh, well, believe me, I know about that.
Oh, headed out to Eureka used to be, and I know they've pulled the road straight since. When I had my motorcycle, I'd always go out there and head up Highway 71 in Arkansas. What a fun road that was! A nice curvy road headed on up towards Eureka.
A lot of cliffs too.
Yeah.
Trust me, they have not straightened any roads out here. These are the winding roads that you've ever been on. They're still all 2 lanes, and we get a lot of car enthusiasts, and we get a lot of motorcyclists throughout the summer. So I think somebody told me we get close to 1 million motorcyclists come through here every year.
Oh, wow.
Great.
Do you?
And there's generally a car show about every weekend or every other weekend throughout the summer, whether it would be the Volkswagen show, the Jeep show, the Chrysler, you name it, they've got one about every weekend here in Eureka Springs.
I haven't really spent any time in Arkansas in forever and ever. I think the last time I drove through there was probably 20 years ago. Mm-hmm. But I do remember the hills, the mountains, and through there, and it's really pretty.
It is.
Depending on what part of Arkansas you're talking about. But, you get out of the big cities, and sure is lots of fun. It kind of reminds me of the Texas Hill Country in a way.
Yep. The closer or the eastern side.
Northwest Arkansas is like a different state all in itself. It's just the beautiful mountains. The Boston Mountains run through here, and that's where you took your motorcycle on 71 Highway.
Oh, yeah.
That was south of Fayetteville.
So for those folks that are listening that have Mustangs looking for something to do, is there still openings available to visit you that weekend, Thunder on the Mountain?
There is, and our registration has been open for some time. It's an online registration through motoshow.com, and you can pull that up on the web browser, and it'll take you in, and you pick Thunder on the Mountain, and it'll give you all the activities that we have going on for the day.
How much does it cost to enter?
Car shows are $20 if you pre-register, and $25 the day of the show.
So very affordable. Mm-hmm. Sounds like fun.
Very affordable. all the other events will range from $5 to $10 an event. Lunches generally are more than that, $15 to $20 for lunches. And the cruising is all free. And then we take all that money and we donate it right back to local charities here in Eureka Springs.
Very
so
nice.
is that where you are right now in Eureka Springs?
I am.
And is there enough hotels around there to service everybody that needs a night in the hotel?
We have this population problem. Our population is 2,073 people, but there's 2,600 hotel rooms in this area.
Why?
Because of the car shows.
It's a destination.
It's a resort. It's a resort community on a big lake, and this town is quite unique. And I think that they claim to have the most haunted hotel in the United States, the Crescent Hotel.
You know what? My son's been there. I believe my son's been there. He talks about that.
It's quite the city to walk through and enjoy the unique shops and that kind of stuff. So it's just amazing that how many people come here. I think somebody told me once there's more weddings here than there is in Las Vegas.
That's what he was up for, a friend's wedding. Absolutely.
How fun. Well, man, this sounds like a great event. And give me the date again, the dates.
The date will be June 24th. That'll be that weekend. Starts on a Thursday and runs through Sunday.
Thursday through Sunday. That's that for a car guy that does road trips.
Mm-hmm.
That's perfect.
Yeah.
Arrive on Thursday and leave on Sunday evening.
Head out in the morning and take your time getting home.
Yeah.
We have a lot of people come up from Dallas. We have a whole group that come up, and some of that group helps us run some of our driving events. And they literally find a hotel outside of town, a little on the lake at a resort, and they book the whole thing. They'll have 20, 30 rooms there, and then they just run all of their stuff out of that one hotel.
Now, do you guys? I forgot what I was going to ask. Do you guys offer openings for any other cars, or is it strictly a Mustang event?
Well, we're strictly Ford.
Fords.
This is a Mustang show, but we accept all Fords.
Gotcha.
In some of our other shows that we do with the Midwest Blue Oval Club, we'll have different varieties of cars. This particular one's always been a Mustang show, so we've kept it a Mustang show, but we accept all the Fords that come.
Fun. So, my
ask Randy if he's going.
Who?
Randy. I'm sure he's been before.
Yeah.
No
doubt.
Weldon.
Sorry. Yeah. Well, I'll tell you what. It's great to talk to you, Jeff. Do you work there in Eureka Springs? Obviously, with the car club. That's given.
Well, I'm actually retired, and I wish the camera was working because I could show you. I have a garage full of cars that I'm currently putting together. So.
Well, guess what? We have other shows coming up in the weeks ahead.
Yeah.
And I think that the time is near that you're going to be back on, not talking about an event, but talking about your garage.
Well, it's pretty unique. People like to see it. We have a lot of memorabilia, a lot of signed posters, and a lot of autographed things that, most of these people that I've worked with over the years, or they've known me, and some of them are, have since passed, but very unique collection of stuff that I've gotten since I started doing this in early 70s.
Cool.
Very nice. Well, we're going to call you after your June 24th weekend and see how it went. And then hopefully you get your video working so we can see inside the secret garage you got up there.
Sounds like a winner.
The pony stall.
The pony
There
stall.
you go.
Jeff, it's great talking to you. Thanks so much for joining us today.
You bet. Take care, everybody.
You too. Jeff Yurgovich is his name. Midwest Blue Oval Club. Thunder on the Mountain. Fords in Arkansas.
That Highway 71 he's talking about, I used to spend the summers in a little town between Fort Smith and Fayetteville. The little town's almost gone. They shut the school down and stuff because there's nobody that lives there anymore. I took my mom up there a couple of years. But it is gorgeous up there with all the trees and the hills. And, I mean, it's
a pretty state.
It is. And it's more mountainous than what the hill country of Texas is.
And that haunted hotel, I think Jason and Kaylee, my son and daughter-in-law, stayed in there. Their friend got married, and I believe it was up in that area.
Did they hear any ghosts?
I believe they did. There's stories, yeah. They said it is actually haunted.
Huh.
Yep.
Okay. Thank you. By the way, we would love to hear from you out there. And you can do that by just shooting us an email. The address is info@inwheeltime.com. Time now for Conrad's Car Clinic.
Oh, boy.
And I hope that it's something really good and intricate today.
Well, we're going to talk about how do rain-sensing wipers work.
That's good.
You know, that's one of the new technologies that are out there in the industry.
New?
Well, relatively new.
20 years.
Well, you got to remember, 20 years ago, what could you do with your wipers? You could turn them on, you could turn them on fast, or you could turn them on intermittent.
Yeah, intermittent or delay.
Now you can turn them on automatic, where they'll kind of they'll come on.
How do they do that?
When it gets
Let me see.
like this. Like
there you go. Okay, there you go. Mine do that too.
The integrated into many windshield wiper switches, allowing the drivers to reduce the frequency of
the wipe.
Well, the wipe, but also being distracted looking for the wiper switch. You know, a lot of people might, because they don't use them often enough, might have to take your eyes off the road to look down to how to turn your wipers on.
Isn't it usually on
the stalk?
Yeah. Usually it's on the turn signal stalk, but not always. But I think it's one of the most innovative additions to wiper technology.
What is it, an eyeball that looks at the windshield?
There is actually a camera that is generally mounted to the base of the rear view mirror that is looking through the glass of the windshield. And what it's looking for is that, you know, the reason you turn your wipers on is because the view is distorted from the water, and it is looking for that distortion from the water. And then
my side is distorted all the time.
It's not a little weather guy in the
No, there's not a little weather guy.
Okay.
It's not a little Gary England in there going tornado, tornado. No, it is looking through the glass, and you know, again, they're integrated into the rear view mirror. So and that sensor. The issue is if you get, you know, Houston pretty well known for damaging windshields, rock chips and cracks and stuff. So if you ever get your windshield replaced, it's going to cost you extra. In some instances, an extra $200-300 just to get all of your cameras recalibrated after they replace the windshield. So you have to get a very specific windshield that is designed for these cameras, whether it's rain sensing wipers or any of the other assortment of things like radar cruise control and stuff, all of those things that pass through the windshield.
There's a commercial on where they actually say that they reset all of your computerized.
Yeah, that's SafeLight.
SafeLight does that.
And it's not easy to do. They actually have to go in with a scanner into the vehicle, turn all those systems on, and force them to function to make sure that they see through whatever the new glass is.
My first Cadillac, I had a windshield replaced, and I was leaving out of town. They did it in the morning at the house, and this glass company, and they cut it out with a power tool, cut the glass out, but they cut all the wires. And I had to get a new headliner reordered. It took me 5 weeks to get a headliner for that Cadillac. It was
Way
a
to
mess.
go.
It was a mess.
Well, when you buy discount stuff, you get discount work.
It was a very well-known glass company here in town.
But again, you know, when you get your windshield replaced for a rock chip or something today, you have to get all those cameras recalibrated, and rain sensing wipers is one of them. And it's actually in a lot more vehicles than you think, the rain sensing wipers. So you can see the little black box generally in or around where the mount for the mirror is.
What is that little button that's up on the dash? I thought that was
that little round button. That is generally an ambient light sensor for your interior dash lights. So do you know that your dash lights get brighter in the day and get darker at night?
As they should.
Yep. As they should. That little round button you see in your dash is the sensor that's measuring the ambient light to make that decision in how bright your dash lights are. Or in your case, how bright dawn is.
They leave that
Not
in
at
there,
all.
but yet they take your XM radio out.
And yeah, what was the other thing you said they were taking out of the car today?
Oh, Android Auto.
Android, yeah. Thanks,
that
Mary.
and Apple CarPlay.
But we have to monitor your lights.
Only GM.
And then they're going to collect all that data on you and sell it to the Chinese.
Well, and not only that, but they're going to turn it all off. But not so if you want certain functions, they're going to charge you for it. It's another income stream for them.
Now they've been losing so much money through the years. Why not find a way to make some?
I guess.
Do I sound bitter?
Yeah.
Yeah. Are you?
since the moment you walked in.
I don't think I'm bitter, but I think the management at General Motors has never been held accountable for the bad decisions that they've made
Well,
for
sounds
years.
like the U.S.
years.
government.
Years.
Well, yeah. Well, we re-elect idiots.
Yeah, we do.
Okay.
Might make one mayor.
Easy.
Princess Leia.
Easy.
I was told under no uncertain terms today I needed to drop that. Okay. Done.
Oh, so you couldn't say it from the helicopter?
No, when the helicopter is on this show.
No.
Because, I say things that may be a little
That's
off
where you
color,
get
so
it
to
from.
speak. Exactly.
Speaking of Mr. Off Color with his pink shirt.
Hey, this is a perfect color.
Mr. Mars, did you ever go to the Jeep event in Moab?
Which one?
Moab.
No.
Could you put your microphone on and maybe perhaps join the conversation? I know it's a lot to do.
I'm having another conversation over here on the side.
Yeah.
Kid with a new toy.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Now, I never could make it out to Moab as much as I wanted to. It just never did work out right.
Well, I have a little featurette courtesy of Automotive News. Jeep's latest collection of Easter Jeep Safari concepts features a mix of eco-friendly powertrains, luxury, and the brand's trademark ruggedness. The 7 concepts tested on the off-road terrain in Moab, Utah for the 57th annual gathering of Jeep enthusiasts begins today. It's one of the largest off-road gatherings in the world and is hosted by Moab's Red Rock Four-Wheelers Club. And, turn the page, Grand Wagoneer Overland. The concept's most striking feature is the custom red tail Overland Skyloft attached to its roof. The Skyloft includes a sleeping area for 2 people and windows to give occupants panoramic views of the environment.
Nice.
Sounds
So you
like
could
fun.
sleep in there while they're driving down the road?
On the roof. No, not driving down the road. Magneto 3.0. Battery electric Magneto concept, which boasts a 6-speed manual transmission, will make its 3rd and final Safari appearance this year. The reimagined version 3.0 has a more efficient motor that boosts the torque output from 850 to 900. It also gets a 20% increase in usable energy. That's one of the things. How about the Scrambler 392? Remember the Scrambler, the Jeep Scrambler?
Yeah.
Powerful Scrambler 392 concept will charge through Moab with a Hemi V8, producing 470 horsepower and 470 pound-feet of torque. It builds on the open-air legacy of the 1981 Jeep Scrambler CJ8, the brand's first convertible compact truck.
Wow.
The concept, which features custom carbon fiber bodywork, sits on 40-inch tires wrapped around custom 20-inch rims. Big. 78 Jeep Cherokee 4xE. Jeep designers put an electrified spin on a vintage 1978 Cherokee. Wrangler Rubicon 4xE. The Jeep team is bringing its popular Tuscadero Pink on the Wrangler Rubicon.
Pinky Tuscadero?
Yeah.
Pinky Tuscadero. There
In
you go.
honor of your shirt.
In honor of my shirt.
Gladiator Rubicon Sideburn.
Wasn't she Fonzie's girlfriend, Pinky Tuscadero?
Yep.
The fortified Gladiator Rubicon Sideburn, which has a plethora of accessories, sports a grill guard that mimics Jeep's 7-slot layout and doubles as a bench.
Oh, yeah.
For those that have been out in the desert, sometimes you just want to be able to sit down and relax, says Mark Trossel, head of Ram Truck and Mopar Design. There's obviously tailgating that goes on, so we offered another way to do that.
Very
Clever.
cool.
Smart.
And then finally, the Wrangler Rubicon 4xE Departure. Trossel said, like the Sideburn concept, the Departure has the custom grill guard that folds down to create a bench. Mopar designers added flat fender flares and wheel liners that are designed specifically for larger wheel and tire combinations to provide additional clearance.
And they don't call it the Potsy or the Ralph Mouth?
No, I don't think that they do that.
The Cunningham.
The Cunningham. So
Think of how sad Andy was when he had to adopt Opie out to the Cunninghams as the one show ended and the new show started.
I don't think that it went that way, but it made me think about that for a minute. No, I don't think that happened.
You had the funniest look on your face while you were trying to
The meds are kicking in.
Hyundai Motor Company will distribute free steering wheel locks in the U.S. and upgrade anti-theft software on 4 million vehicles after a spate of TikTok-inspired car thefts we've talked about on this show.
Yep.
The viral videos target Hyundais and Kias that lack an electronic security feature called an engine immobilizer that keeps the car from being started without a key. So far this year, New York police have arrested 109 suspects for thefts of certain models of Kia and Hyundai cars.
Thank you, TikTok.
Exactly. All right, quick break now. You're on the N-Wheel Time Car Talk Show. Stay with us.
Tailpipes and Tacos, Houston's premier car cruise-in returns Saturday, April 15th to the Lupi Tortilla Tex-Mex in Katy, 8 to 11 a.m. Bring your Hot Rod, Classic, Resto Mod, or any other vehicle you'd like to show and compete for one of 3 highly coveted Chili Pepper trophies. This April 15th kickoff event is one you'll want to put on your calendar because 100% of the money you donate for the free tacos will be given to God's Garage. You heard right, free tacos. Whatever you decide to give, all of it will be given to God's Garage and matched by Lupi Tortilla. God's Garage gifts vehicles to single mothers, widows, and wives of deployed military in the greater Houston area. In fact, the garage will gift a vehicle to a mom in need at this special event. Be sure to attend the next Tailpipes and Tacos Cruise-In, Saturday, April 15th, 8 to 11 a.m. at the Lupi Tortilla Tex-Mex in Katy on the Grand Parkway at Kingsland Boulevard, just south of I-10. Free breakfast tacos for any donation to God's Garage. It'll make your heart and your belly feel good.
Mecum Auctions, the world's largest collector car auction company, returns to Houston, April 13th through 15th at NRG Center. Featuring 2,000 muscle cars, Corvettes, exotics, customs, and more. Broadcast live on Motor Trend TV and Motor Trend Plus. From avid collectors to those new to the Mecum experience, we welcome everyone. Register to bid now at Mecum.com.
You own a car you love. Well, why not let Gulf Coast Auto Shield protect it? Houstonian John Gray invites you to his state-of-the-art facility to introduce you to his specialist team of auto enthusiasts. We promise you'll be impressed. Whether you're looking to massage your original paint to a like-new appearance, apply a ceramic coating, install a paint protection film, nano-ceramic window tint, or new windshield protection called ExoShield, Gulf Coast Auto Shield is where Houston's car people go. Curbed your wheels? Instead of buying new, why not have them repaired? How about a professionally installed radar detector? Gulf Coast Auto Shield does that too. Get a peek inside the shop and look at the services offered by getting online and heading to gcautoshield.com. Better yet, stop by their facility at 11275 South Sam Houston Tollway, just south of the Southwest Freeway, and get a personal tour. Gulf Coast Auto Shield is your place to go for all things exterior. Call them today, 832-930-5655 or gcautoshield.com.
Live from Texas, USA, it's the N-Wheel Time Car Talk Show. Coming up, we check in with Brad Thompson at God's Garage about the big Tailpipes and Tacos fundraiser cruise-in. Mr. Mars has the Toyota Highlander. He'll tell you about it. And we'll also have the events calendar, along with stories making automotive news headlines. Howdy. Along with Mike Out of This World Mars, King Conrad DeLong. We need more Jeff Zekin. I am Don Armstrong, and we thank you for joining us on this Saturday at a different time today because I had another obligation with my full-time job.
You're flying about?
With my full-time job this morning, and so with a big, Ford tournament in town, a lot of stuff going on, very busy downtown area, so I did that this morning, and so we decided to just hold off on the show and do it a little differently and be on the air at a different time today.
A little bit later.
Everyone slept in. It was kind of odd getting up on Saturday. Well, you didn't, but I did, and I'm thinking something's not right.
It was nice.
Yeah.
It was nice.
Got to sleep in a couple of hours.
Well, joining us now from God's Garage and the Tailpipes and Tacos hero is Mr. Brad Thompson. Brad, good morning.
Morning, guys. How are you today?
Well, we're doing fine. Look at the shop. It's all come together. It looks like a big manufacturing facility there.
Man, I tell you, we got 5 lifts up. The alignment rack's sitting over here waiting to get bolted to the floor and calibrated. So, it's kind of like that moving into that new toolbox. This just takes a little while, So, we've got little things that still need to be done. And I don't know if you can see it up high, but there's an air conditioning unit going in up there on the shop. Remember us?
Yes.
To get that. So we actually had a donor come through and donate enough money to pool together with some other donations, and The guys in the shop are thrilled. It's not on yet. It should be running next week.
That's just great. Well, we're so glad that there's some success going on up there with the new facility, and things are looking up for God's Garage. Why don't you tell the folks that are joining us for the first time today, since we're doing this at a different time than we normally do, what is God's Garage and what do you guys do?
Yeah, so God's Garage, well, you just did it on a promo, and I can't do it with your voice, so, but
that's
God's
what I
Garage.
wanted to hear your voice tell us about it.
Yours is much better than mine. So God's Garage, we're a 501c3 nonprofit up in Conroe, just on the east side of downtown. We've been around informally since 2010, formally as a nonprofit since 2016. We take in donated vehicles. So you see all of the billboards, the radio ads, donate your car. Hopefully every once in a while you stumble across one of ours. But we take in donated vehicles, running or not. We fix them if we can. We get them very roadworthy, have them inspected, do the whole checkout on them. And then we give them away to single moms, widows, and wives of deployed military, and mostly in the Houston area. And then we also will service the cars that belong to that same group of ladies. So not only do we give away cars for free, I mean, last few years we've averaged right at 100 that we've given away. We've serviced right about that many every year. Last year was a little slower, but we also ask these ladies to go through a life skills training. So most of them, are just doing everything they can to get by. And their stories are incredible. And you guys will get to hear one of those at the Tailpipes and Tacos here in a couple weeks. But most of them are just kind of missing the general budgeting, writing a resume, a lot of the things that kind of will help them get a little bit ahead of where they're at now.
The stuff that we take for granted that we all know, they don't necessarily know. And not for no fault of anybody's, other than the fact that they just happen to be in a place in their lives that they're not able to do that for themselves.
Absolutely. So, and here we are Saturday. I don't know if you can see Jared walking around behind me. We have volunteers that even come up on Saturdays. We're typically open Monday through Friday, kind of general business hours. Last year we had, I think, 126 different volunteers throughout the year.
Wow.
So, it's impressive, and it's neat now that we've got the new shop and we're not crunched into a little shell of a building down the road and messing with all the dirt and dust and everything. Some folks are starting to come back that left before, where there just wasn't enough elbow room to really do anything. And you can see now, I mean, we've got a car sitting in the middle here. We've got so much room. So we can run them in and out of that big center door in the back, or all the 6 bays on the side.
So tell everybody about the deal that you cut with Stan Holt and Lupe Tortilla out there in Katy and Tailpipes and Tacos.
Well, it came about because of you guys. So thank you again. But you introduced us to Stan, and Stan is an amazing guy. I've never met him until I got to meet him through you, but we're going to be the sponsor organization, or we're going to be the charity of choice that Stan has on Tailpipes and Tacos. So as people come out and go to the event and buy tacos, the donations they give will come to us instead of go to him, which is amazingly generous. We had a grand opening here. We had 220 people, and he fed everybody. So, he's been amazing, and we just look forward to doing this with him. And I heard your promo kind of spoiled it, but so hopefully our car recipient's not listening to your show right now. But we're going to give a car away that weekend. And if you know about this, if you show up and you know about this, do not say anything to her, because she will not know that's actually what's happening. She's going to think she's going to be talking to you guys about the hardships of not having a car. And when we do some of these giveaways we want everybody to kind of see everything we get to see, we don't tell the recipient they're about to get their vehicle that day. They think this is the last step that they go through. And we're going to have her car on site. Now, when we're done, she's going to have to go to the title office and get insurance, so she doesn't get to just drive it home that day. We have a process that we go through, but don't say anything to her.
You're not going to hear anything.
No. It's a secret.
It's a big secret.
Turn the volume
Well,
down.
I think one of the cool things you guys do, besides just give away the cars, which is cool in and of itself, is to educate those recipients on these life skills you talk about. I always wondered why the school districts aren't teaching budgeting and writing checks and stuff, the simplicity of things that I trust my wife to do, because I don't. But why the fact that you guys are doing it, I think, is adding over and above what's going on with just a car that you're giving away, because you're not just giving them a car, you're giving them an opportunity to improve their future.
And one thing, too, Brad, that you didn't touch on that I'd like for you, too, is the fact that you guys vet these recipients of cars very rigorously. And there are certain things that they have to do and certain criteria that they have to meet to become eligible for the cars. Give us a brief overview of that.
Yeah, so they can't, you're right. And, we amazingly, so where are we, March? We have vetted over 500 people already this year.
Wow. Holy cow.
So ever since, this ministry's always gotten a lot of attention, especially on the north side of town. But it seems lately it's really started to pick up. And we used to average about 110 applicants a month. Now we last year we had 150 a month. So, if you look at, we're giving away, hopefully this year, if we can get more donations, which is actually our bottleneck right now, is just the sheer number of cars that get donated to us. But if we get enough donations, we'll give away easily 150 cars this year. But if you think about that, we're only giving away 1 month's worth of applicants. So we go through, we have volunteers, all ladies. They do an amazing job for this. We actually are set up with some systems where they can do it for us remotely. But they will get in, they will make sure that this person doesn't have a car already, because that's one of our criteria. We have a criteria on how much income they can have presently. Over a certain threshold, we don't deem them to be, in need of a car from us. And then, they have to be single. They have to be a single mom. So that means you have to have a child 17 or under living with you. And believe it or not, we can find most of this out. Some of it's public database searches. It's looking at Facebook pages, but it's a rigorous process. And I don't even know how they do it. I know we've gotten more ladies doing this now than we ever have. I literally have no idea how they get that many.
Brad, where do the volunteers come from?
Churches, areas, car groups. Jared's a student. Jared, how'd you find out about us? Oh, I don't know. I guess he left the building. He's a student. He rides a sport bike up here. So, it just comes from all over the place. And one other neat kind of source you wouldn't normally think of, but people in Montgomery County. So Judge Wayne Mack is the Justice of Peace in Precinct 1 in Montgomery County. He's a great friend of ours, spoke at our grand opening. And we're kind of one of the places where folks that have to do community service can choose to come do community service with us.
Oh,
nice.
Fun.
That's
cool.
So
that's great.
They'll come here. They'll have X number of hours. I know Jared's not one of those guys. So,
okay.
But we get guys that, they've got, 400 hours of community service. So they'll come up here and they'll be here 8 hours a day helping out one of the guys that's been here a while, or cleaning stuff or moving things around. So, man, the sources are all over the place.
Well, that's cool. That's great. How can our viewers, our listeners, get involved in God's Garage and be one of the volunteers?
So you can get on our website. There are buttons for donates and applications and volunteer. We will vet you. We will run a background check on you to make sure that we're keeping everybody safe and everybody that's here. Have to remember, we deal a lot with women who've had a lot of trauma in their lives. Sure. Generally. Yep. So we protect them very, very rigorously here in making sure we know who our volunteers are. But you can also just stop by. We're just on the east side of Conroe, 2100 East Davis. If you're in the area, you can come by and just fill out an application. And then we have an orientation. Obviously, we're putting cars up on lifts and using drill presses and things. So we have safety training, and we've done a really good job of keeping folks safe. We also need delivery drivers or pickup drivers. We have 2 trailers and trucks, and we pick up just about all of the vehicles that get donated to us. COVID year, we picked up 399 vehicles.
Wow.
During COVID in 1 year. So while everybody was home sick of that car in their driveway going, can we just get rid of this? So we picked up every one of those. Volunteers did.
And those that you deem that they're really not fixable or not worth fixing up and putting money into, what do you do with those? Sell those off?
Yeah, America's Auto Auction is literally 2 miles down the road over here on 1483 or whatever FM number that is. So if they're really bad, I mean, if they don't run, they got a blown engine, blown transmission, and we drag them out of a field because they've been there for 3 years with the windows open 2 inches.
Sure.
We don't even bring them here. We take them straight over there. They actually have a designated area where we come. We don't even have to tell them. We just show up and drop the cars off, and then we'll send them the paperwork on it, and they'll run it through the auction.
Interesting. Very interesting. So everything is all above board and transparent up there, and anybody can find out about anything they want to about God's Garage. Because, these days you kind of are a little bit skeptical with anything that comes with, giving away stuff. I know that down the street there's a clothing box, if you will, that people donate stuff, and they donate all sorts of stuff. And I've seen people rummaging around some of the stuff that wouldn't fit in it, and you're going, no, that's not what it's there for, And so
is that where you got that shirt done?
That's where I got the shirt. Yeah, exactly.
Says the man with the pink shirt on.
Thank you very much.
Busted.
Oh boy.
Yeah, there's that.
So Don, there's an organization called GuideStar. I think recently they changed their name, but they are specifically in business to validate and verify that nonprofits do what they're supposed to do.
Yeah.
And we have the highest rating. It's called Platinum rating. So we are Platinum rated through GuideStar. So that's a really good, important thing to think about, whether you support us or support one of the other ones. There's places online where you can go search and look for the rating. It's on our website. The little seal's on our website. But we take the financial end of this business very, very seriously.
Brad, what would you say to somebody that is debating on who to give their car to? Because we have a global audience, believe it or not. But more specifically, I mean, we've got people that are listening down in Alvin or down at Surfside, all the way over to halfway to Timbuktu out on the west side.
Exactly.
What would you say to somebody that is looking to donate a car, and as opposed to bringing it to somebody else, bringing it to you?
So we can pick up cars anywhere. We can go. We've picked up cars in California where people have said, "Hey, we want to give a car to you." That car doesn't come to us. So there's a national service called NCS that we use that will go pick up donated vehicles. And most of these, when you see kids dancing in the street in the commercial, but they don't really tell you what they're doing with the money, most of those organizations farm out all of their pickups to NCS, which is why we do our own. If it's a car in Alvin, let's say, good example, or Surfside or Galveston, we try to stay within about an hour of Conroe. But if the car's in good enough shape, it runs, and we know it's one we're going to give away, we will go get it. I've gone to Austin before and picked up a BMW M3 that I was hoping was in better shape than it was when I picked it up. But we'll go get them anywhere. If they're too far away, if you get really too far away and it's a good running vehicle, we'll send that over to NCS, the collection service, and they'll go get it for us.
Nice.
Interesting.
So they get it and then they bring it to you?
No, so well, it depends. If it's far enough away but local to the NCS service,
right,
we every once in a while might get them to come back here. But if they're in San Antonio or Austin, or Brazoria, which is just kind of out of our reach, or Louisiana, we get a lot of those. They take them to an auction, which.
And then they turn around, pay you a fee. You have to pay a fee, but then they give you all the proceeds out of the vehicle.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Gotcha.
Right. So they take out the towing and their service fee and a few other things. But if it's a good running vehicle, literally, if it's a little more than an hour, we'll typically go get it. I mean, we salvage 65% of the vehicles we take in, sometimes even more.
So, Brad, let me ask you this. You say you collect them and you go through the vetting process of the deserving individuals. You're not looking for a two-door Miata. You need a family-type vehicle, correct?
Oh, we'll take a two-door Miata. I'll turn it into a Lemons car. No, so, yeah, we actually... We had somebody recently donate a two-door Ford Ranger that was a stick. We can give those away, but we're careful to vet the applicant to make sure they're okay with that, because sometimes we give them to widows, and the widows don't necessarily need a back seat. So it's not always just single moms. We almost always want to probably have a four-door car. Widows and wives of deployed military, a lot of those will we can give them just about anything. But man, if you've got a Toyota or a Nissan minivan that's 2008 or newer, man, we'd love to talk to you.
C5 Corvette.
No, no.
Thanks, Don.
No, I actually, mine's not here right now, and I know Don's not ready to give his up. So.
No, I'm not. I'm ready to go gather it up from Mr. Thompson down there at Apex Auto Works because he's put a new clutch in it for me, and so
nice.
I'm going to gather that up this afternoon. Well, Brad, it's always great to talk to you. We look forward to seeing you in a couple of weeks. That's going to be at the Lupe Tortilla, Tailpipes and Tacos. And the only one is out in Katy where the event is going to be held, and that is just south of I-10, the Katy Freeway, right at 99, the Grand Parkway.
And the Kingsland.
Kingsland Boulevard, yeah. And so we will see you there. We're going to be broadcasting live from 8 to 11 that day. It's in 2 weeks from today.
Shh. We'll try and keep your secret. We will keep your secret.
Yeah, be careful. Be careful. You never know who's tuning in.
That's right.
Hey, thanks for having us, guys. It'll be great to see you in a couple weeks. And we'll see if we can maybe bring some swag that we can sell or something. We'll figure out something.
I know you will. We'll talk to you soon. Thanks, Brad.
All right, thank you.
Events calendar time. Conrad has the events calendar for the day. I know you were ready for that.
Yep. So, again, tomorrow is Coffee and Chrome at the Avalon Diner right off of 59/69 and the 90 intersection at the south end of the Fountains Shopping Center.
Correct.
There's a car cruise in tonight in Montgomery, Texas, and it's an open car cruise in 943 Eva Street, and that starts at 6 p.m. Also 6 p.m. tonight is Classic Cars of Brazoria County cruise in at the Lubies in Lake Jackson. Tonight is the Dayton Cruisers monthly street meet in Dayton at 5 p.m. There's not much in Dayton, so it should be easy enough to find it. It's right off of Main Street. And then the Brookshire Brothers Cruise in Montgomery, Texas is 5 p.m. tonight. Wharton Cruise Night at the Domino's Pizza is tonight at 6 p.m. Tomorrow is Woodlands Coffee and Cars for a Cause at 9595 Six Pines Drive in the Woodlands, and I'm sure Weldon will be there, and that the donations taken there are given to local Montgomery County charities, and that's actually been going on for quite some time. Cars and Coffee at the Aggie Land Outfitters off of 303 University Drive in College Station is tomorrow morning at 8 a.m. Tomorrow morning at 6 a.m. is Classic Cars and Coffee at Donuts at the Whitehall Cafe in Navasota. Tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. is at Rosenberg at Avenue H, 5138 Avenue H in Rosenberg, Texas, and they'll have an instructional class there.
What are they going to instruct you
on? Detailing your car.
Okay. Because you didn't point that out.
And the Craft Beer Cellar Car Show.
What?
Craft beer and cars go together so well. At 11734 Barker Cypress Road, which is kind of up near me, and that's tomorrow at noon. And that's it.
All right. Thank you, sir. Time now for this hour's car review. Mr. Mars had a chance to drive the Toyota Highlander. Boy, you know, one of the things I have to say about that, it started off as such a right-sized vehicle. Now it has turned into this huge SUV.
I was talking to my wife the other day about that. The small cars, because we were looking at, we saw a Toyota Corolla going down the road, and how much bigger it is now than what it was when we were putting our kids in one of them so many years ago. And the Highlander's the same way. So it's like the bigger cars have gotten smaller, and the small cars have gotten bigger.
Yep.
And it's kind of
well, yeah, the Honda Civic now is about the size of the Accord back in the 80s.
Yeah, exactly. But anyway, so we're going to talk about the 2023 Toyota Highlander. Actually, it is the hybrid series, and it is available in 5 trim levels now. You can actually get the hybrid in all 5 of them now. The LE, the XLE, the Bronze Edition, the Limited, and the Platinum, which is the top of the line, which is what we had, and it is an all-wheel drive version. So this is the 4th gen of the Highlander that was introduced in 2020. So it is a midsize SUV, like Don said. It's gotten bigger. It is a 3-row with a small 3rd row. Is the only way I know how to describe it politely over the air. So outside of it, it's got a lot of nice features on it. It's got LED lighting up front, adaptive headlights, auto leveling, which I really have come to love that, LED fog lights, the rain sensing wipers that Conrad was talking about earlier.
When are you going to open up that cheap wallet of yours and actually buy a new car?
Get Becky something new to drive.
Her car's only got 80,000 miles on it. It's not even broken yet.
Time to get rid. Anyway,
it's time to donate it to God's garage.
It's got heated, power folding side mirrors, and it's got a moonroof.
You know we love jacking with you, Mars.
I'm trying to keep
right in the middle of your car review.
It's got a hands-free lift gate, and it's rolling on some nice 20-inch alloy wheels on it.
Becky, are you listening? You're getting a new car.
I hope not. So inside of it, again, top of the line trim level, leather seating surfaces. The front seats are heated and ventilated. The second row are captain's chairs, which are also heated. Now, this thing has got a 12.3-inch touchscreen in the center stack.
That's
where
big.
You're going to find all your convenience controls, all your radio, everything in there. Easy to find. Got buttons to work with.
Reruns of Highway Patrol.
I bet I could find it if I looked hard enough.
Mayberry RFD.
Now, it's also got a 12.3-inch gauge cluster. So you've got these two large monitors there to work with. And it's got a 10-inch heads-up display. So you've got lots of room to look at stuff here.
We're looking.
JBL audio with a subwoofer and an amp with 11 speakers. So it really will
blow you out of there.
It will. But one thing we talked before about was the Bluetooth chargers where you just lay your phone on it. This thing has got a shelf underneath that center stack. It's just big enough to put your phone in. It sets in there nice and tucks in nice and easy. Works well. It's easy to reach. You don't have to jack with nothing. It's one of the best
Does it have a vibration function to it?
No. Didn't get it to vibrate. Tried. So up under the hood to make all this go is a 2.4-liter ICE engine. Produces 186 horsepower at 6,000 RPM. And so put it all together, and it'll come up with about 243 combined net horsepower with the electric motor setup. Now, it's got 175 pound-feet of torque. It's backed up by an eCVT. Now, surprise to me, this thing will tow 3,500 pounds, kind of like your car you were talking about earlier at 4,000.
It's a lot with a CVT.
I thought it was quite a bit. So the EPA says in the city you should be looking for 35 miles to the gallon, 34 on the highway, 35 combined.
What?
Now,
Say that again.
I got
What's
30,
so funny?
Wait.
I got 33.5 across the 431 miles that I drove it.
What's so funny?
Nothing. I've got my notes up here where I can read them nice and easy. The thing I did like about driving this, it does have 5 drive modes. A couple of them I'm not sure why.
Does it have a lookup mode?
It's got sport, eco, normal,
Just make
EV.
something up, Mars. It's okay.
I'm trying. So it's got smooth power transition between the EV and the gas engine. I was really surprised. It's quiet, and with the windows rolled up, you can't tell when it makes a change. It always started for me in the EV. So when you went to get in it and you got ready to go, you can't hear anything, even with the windows down. And then, of course, once you get going, then it kicks over to the ICE engine, and you're good to go. And you can kind of tell it, but the windows up, you don't hear nothing. And I was really impressed with that. Got a nice plush ride on it. It's not floaty. It's not like a land yacht, but of course it's not a race car either. Now, the base trim price on this car is $52,425. Now that's at this trim level. Now you can get a base model. I was surprised of the Highlander Hybrid for $41,555. Now our as tested price, $54,185.
How much?
$54,185.
Okay, that's not too bad.
No, I didn't think it was bad at all. Now, if you're looking at something to compare it to, you look over at the Kia Sorento Hybrid. This is my wife has the Sorento, and this would be the one I would look at, but it starts at $36,690, which I was very surprised at. Now, your Ford Explorer Hybrid, which is a larger vehicle, actually, is $47,070, and a Hyundai Santa Fe is $42,410. These are all base models to compare them straight across, and then you have to step up to the Platinum models.
Well, the other thing about Toyota, their Synergy Drive, they've built millions of them through the years. So when you talk about the smoothness of the transition between the ICE and the hybrid system, that's why it's so good, is because they're so well experienced with it.
Yes, and it really was. I was really surprised. I'm like Don. I've driven these, from several years back. Got an aunt and uncle that had one. Everybody loved them, but to me, this is a big step up.
Yeah, you may want to redo that review.
Maybe not.
Might be a few edits in it.
No, don't give me edits in it.
I was pretty good once I got my notes where I could read them.
You can see past
Got
the
it.
top.
All right. I
you
want to
go.
remind you that the In Wheel Time Car Talk Show is available 24/7 through the iHeart Radio app. Just look for In Wheel Time Car Talk. We also video stream on Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, and InWheelTime.com.
But we don't show all of the video.
Not all of it. 30-minute podcasts are at your fingertips on over a dozen of the most popular podcast outlets. The In Wheel Time Car Talk Show continues right after this quick break.
Tailpipes and Tacos, Houston's premier car cruise in returns Saturday, April 15th to the Lupe Tortilla Tex-Mex in Katy, 8 to 11 a.m. Bring your Hot Rod Classic, Resto Mod, or any other vehicle you'd like to show and compete for one of 3 highly coveted chili pepper trophies. This April 15th kickoff event is one you'll want to put on your calendar because 100% of the money you donate for the free tacos will be given to God's Garage. You heard right, free tacos. Whatever you decide to give, all of it will be given to God's Garage and matched by Lupe Tortilla. God's Garage gifts vehicles to single mothers, widows, and wives of deployed military in the greater Houston area. In fact, the garage will gift a vehicle to a mom in need at this special event. Be sure to attend the next Tailpipes and Tacos Cruise In, Saturday, April 15th, 8 to 11 a.m. at the Lupe Tortilla Tex-Mex in Katy on the Grand Parkway at Kingsland Boulevard, just south of I-10. Free breakfast tacos for any donation to God's Garage. It'll make your heart and your belly feel good.
Mecum Auctions, the world's largest collector car auction company, returns to Houston. April 13th through 15th at NRG Center. Featuring 2,000 muscle cars, Corvettes, exotics, customs, and more. Broadcast live on Motor Trend TV and Motor Trend Plus. From avid collectors to those new to the Mecum experience, we welcome everyone. Register to bid now at Mecum.com.
You own a car you love. Well, why not let Gulf Coast Auto Shield protect it? Houstonian John Gray invites you to his state-of-the-art facility to introduce you to his specialist team of auto enthusiasts. We promise you'll be impressed. Whether you're looking to massage your original paint to a like-new appearance, apply a ceramic coating, install a paint protection film, nano-ceramic window tint, or new windshield protection called ExoShield, Gulf Coast Auto Shield is where Houston's car people go. Curbed your wheels? Instead of buying new, why not have them repaired? How about a professionally installed radar detector? Gulf Coast Auto Shield does that too. Get a peek inside the shop and look at the services offered by getting online and heading to gcautoshield.com. Better yet, stop by their facility at 11275 South Sam Houston Tollway, just south of the Southwest Freeway, and get a personal tour. Gulf Coast Auto Shield is your place to go for all things exterior. Call them today, 832-930-5655 or gcautoshield.com.
Live from Texas, USA, it's the In Wheel Time Car Talk Show. Coming up, we check in with Kevin Hall with Texas Nostalgia Modified Production. Later, we'll look at the stories making automotive news headlines. And boy, I got a stack of it.
There you go.
Howdy, along with Mike out of this world, Mars, King Conrad DeLong. We need more Jeff Zekin. I'm Don Armstrong. Thanks so much for joining on this Saturday. And we are going to be joining Mr. Kevin Hall here momentarily. Apparently, we've gotten in on some sort of beer party out there.
I guess. It looks good.
But it does look good. Let's go. Kevin Hall, Texas Nostalgia Modified Production. Howdy.
How you doing, sir?
Well, we're doing great. We need to get that telephone just a little bit closer to your mouth. And we need to, well, maybe not that close, okay? But at any rate, we need, and we don't want to be looking up your nostrils now, nothing like that. We just want to have a nice, beautiful face of yours on TV. Can you supply us with that?
Yes,
they're using your camera.
Yeah, you got too many cameras there, Kevin. You got one.
Wait just a minute.
We're good.
Yeah, so I'll let you guys figure all this out. In the meantime, Conrad and I will have a conversation.
There you go.
Right. Did you see the recalls this week? Honda is recalling more than 330,300 vehicles for side view mirrors that may detach. The recall includes, I think we could probably get that off. There you go. Thank you. The recall includes the 2020 to 22 Honda Odyssey, the Honda Passport, and 20 to 21 Honda Pilot, and 20 to 21 Ridgeline, which is darn near almost everything that they
built,
make.
Yeah.
Heating pads, you know about those.
Mm-hmm.
Behind the side view mirrors can lose adhesion, causing the glass to potentially detach, according to a Honda recall document.
Huh.
Detached mirror glass can reduce driver visibility, blah, 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 and you may cut yourself. Affected vehicles produced at Honda's plant in Lincoln, Alabama. They don't know how to mix the glue there, apparently. Honda has received 71 warranty claims related to the issue, no injuries. Dealers will replace both left and right side mirrors. Owners will be notified by mail beginning May the 8th.
So we're going to wait 2 months to notify them?
Yeah.
Wait a month to notify
what
them?
is up with that?
That's generally done because of part availability.
Well,
so once the parts become available,
but no.
Then they announce the recall.
Yeah, otherwise they
wanna
notify them today, and they start showing up at the dealerships, and they get all angry because there's no parts for them, and they have to come back anyhow. So they just delay notifying them until the parts inventory is built up. Same thing happened with Takata airbags.
Not that anybody's going to actually take their car in. Oh, the mirror fell off. We'll just leave it like that. Then there's the high voltage battery pack may short circuit on the Ford F-150 Lightning. Didn't they just start making that again this week? Here we go again. Transmission built with incorrect sun gear. In the Cadillac XT5, XT6, Chevy Blazer, Chevy Traverse, and the GMC Acadia 22 to 23 model years. I think every Mercedes known to man is being recalled again. Water intrusion from the AC drain hose may cause a short, or the rear door window trim bars may detach. I didn't know that they were running prisoners. Tow hitch harness fire while parked or driving on the Kia Carnival 2022 to 2023. Mars, have you had the Carnival? I don't believe I've had a Carnival.
No,
A Kia Carnival. Windshield wipers may fail on the Hyundai Palisade. Tow hitch harness fire while parked or driving. Hyundai Santa Cruz, Santa Fe Hybrid, and Santa Fe Plug-in Hybrid, 22 to 23 model years. So, as we always recommend, please, please, please go to safercar.gov, have your VIN number of your car, which is on your insurance card.
Plug it in. It's
plug it in, and
17
it will
digits
tell
long.
you if there's a recall and if the recall has been completed.
Right.
It's pretty easy.
Well,
simple.
the other thing is the judge finally granted a class action certification to a lawsuit against General Motors for transmission failures on their 8-speed transmissions from 2015 to 2019. That is going to be a lot of vehicles because that's generally all the pickups and utilities.
I'm surprised that Ford hasn't gone bankrupt just on recalls alone.
Well, this one, if my experience with class action lawsuits, the attorneys are going to make $50 million, and everybody in the class is going to get $1.75.
Yeah,
I heard it was $1.98.
So they moved it up, huh? Yep. So anyhow,
all right. There's that. I guess Mr. Morris has some sort of an emergency working, and
gotta go,
and he is going to have to go. Okay. Well, again,
he's going to go call him.
He's going to call him. Dealership. Number of U.S. dealerships rose slightly in 2022 after dropping 2 years in a row. Though new vehicle sales per franchise or throughput declined nearly 9% amid reduced new vehicle availability. That, according to Automotive News annual dealership census. They counted 18,271 franchise dealerships on January 1st. Each franchise, on average, sold 425 new vehicles last year, an 8.8% decline, according to the census. Ford Motor Company shed 35 dealerships last year, a 1% decline. Ford brand gained 19 exclusive stores, but shed 31 franchises to land almost 3,000 franchises at the beginning of 2023. Lincoln lost 54 franchises, shed 4 exclusives last year. It had 637 franchises on January 1st. Cadillac dealers sold 240 new vehicles per franchise, up 45% for the industry's largest percentage gain.
Yes.
Cadillac's dealer network includes 564 franchises.
Beautiful.
Well, and remember that GM is putting pressure on Buick and Cadillac franchises to make huge investments in EV service and repair.
Yeah.
And a lot of dealers are choosing not to make those $250,000, $500,000 investments in their facilities to
Well,
do
you can
those.
imagine. I mean,
And they're going to
the
fold,
dealerships
go out of
in
business.
Shiner, Texas, they don't sell that many cars to begin with.
True.
It's a small dealership, and you're going to ask the guy to stick in a $500,000 into his service.
Yeah, there was a dealership in Robstown, Texas, which is south of Corpus Christi, that it was a Buick GMC Cadillac.
Yep.
And I think they had maybe one Cadillac, a couple of GMCs, things of that. They sold more GMCs than anything. Small little corner place.
Well,
I think that's recently been bought by the Beck and Maston Group.
Probably
here in
so.
Houston.
Yeah.
Well, Mr. Mars has gotten the transmission issue straightened out with Kevin Hall, Texas Nostalgia Modified Production. Kev, are you there?
Yes, sir.
Well, you're looking good, my friend. We thank you for joining us today. That's not Kevin.
Kevin's in the background.
Oh, my
That's
God.
okay. We'll talk
So
to whoever's
who is this mystery man that I'm talking to?
This is Kevin.
Yeah, I mean,
My picture's on yours. That's
Oh, there we
There
go.
you go.
that picture you were seeing was Tony Smith. He's the 3-time champion of the Nostalgia Superstock.
so
And-
okay, so when you say Superstock, you're talking about, explain that, because we were talking to you about the modified production.
Yes, I have 2 modified production drivers here with me, and 2 Nostalgia Superstock drivers also.
Well, can we lay the groundwork here? We're talking about drag racing. So there's a difference between circle track, asphalt, dirt, drag.
Well, this is drag racing. They call it nostalgia, but this is drag racing that I grew up with in the 60s and 70s, where you launch on the clutch. This isn't these things that you see on TV where everybody's got the trans brake and you launch on a button. But you guys, everything launches on a clutch. Everything's got a carburetor. You know, none of these high-tech electronic modifications are allowed in your category, correct?
That is correct. We leave off the clutch and we manually shift them, and they are carbureted, and there's no fuel injected or anything.
So have you got a car there close that we can see?
Yes.
One of these guys that's with you? There you go.
Oh, Chevy Monza. Or an Oldsmobile Starfire, I'm not sure which. Forenza.
So, Kevin, whose car is this? This is Rollo Brothers out of Houston.
This car belongs to the Rollo brothers, and they're doing a 4-link bar change. A lot of these cars are really pretty sophisticated, and to make the car leave and the way it goes and handles, they got a 4-link, and they make a 4-link bar change, and that's what they're doing right now, getting ready for the first qualifying pass, and they're making a 4-link bar change on their car. And we're going to walk over here. I'm going to show you another car.
Walk fast. Oh, a Corvette. I love a Corvette.
Yeah, everybody loves a Corvette.
This is another car that runs in our series. And, it's driven by Matt Thomas. And, that's Matt right there. If you have any questions, I'd like to talk to Matt. He's the driver of this Corvette. He runs in our class also.
Well, yeah, I got a question. What's under the hood?
So it's a 282 small block, about 800 horsepower.
And you got a 4-speed manual, right?
It's a 5-speed.
5-speed.
manual. Yes, sir.
And your category doesn't allow any power adder, so nobody's spraying, nobody's turbo, nobody's supercharged, correct?
That's correct. This is just naturally aspirated. Got 2 like 4150 series style carburetors on it, and just all motor.
That's a lot of horsepower out of a little bitty motor.
It is. This was a comp eliminator piece several years ago, so it's retired out of that. Probably not quite competitive in comp anymore, but for this, it's the perfect thing.
So in your racing, do you guys race kind of like comp eliminator in brackets? So each class has a index time to run, or do you guys just run what you brung?
So it's similar in some ways. We do run on an index, But to keep all the costs in check, this is kind of run on like a bracket style index. So every car has its own based on what category it falls into. But we can't break out. If we go too fast, we're out.
Okay. So you might leave on a staggered light if you're against a different class.
Yes, we do.
Okay.
Yeah, staggered tree, but it's still a 4/10 pro tree.
Cool. And
good. Are you running quarter mile or 1,000 foot?
We're running eighth mile.
Eighth mile.
So the index that I'm gonna run on today is like a 5:46, I think. Eighth mile index.
And then will you adjust that index based on what track you're at and what's available as far as the atmosphere goes at the track? Or does
right.
that,
Yeah.
okay.
Once we select our index, we're locked into that for that whole event.
For the whole event.
But as the season progresses, we get into July, August, something like that, I'll probably bump down to a slower index because I just won't have as much power available.
Oh, just for the heat of the day. Yeah.
Very good. Very good. Okay.
So how many seasons have you been running in this class, in this category?
This will be my third race today.
Oh, wow.
My third race in this car also.
And where are you based out of?
Wichita Falls, Texas.
Okay. So you driving all around the state to find an event to run in?
Yes, sir.
Why this class and not something that's more regulated with NHRA or IHRA or something?
Say that again.
Why this class? I mean, why the nostalgic and take a former comp eliminator car?
Well, so the reason for this class mainly is it keeps the cost a lot more in check. To run this car in comp would be, it would cost several $1,000s per race. I can come do this for $500 or $600 a race and still be competitive. If I ran comp, I would be like a 30 or 40 under car. And I might qualify, but it would be a struggle.
Okay.
And then, what do you get as far as sponsorship goes? How does that play out? Because I see you've got something on the side of the car. You're kind of standing in the way.
This car, all this
Auburn
stuff
Automotive.
is painted and was on the car originally, so it's just stayed. It's not really sponsorship. It's just old school hand painted lettering, and it's under the clear, so it's not like it's easy to take off either.
Okay.
Yeah, that's true.
Car.
Very good. So, kick us back over to Kevin.
All right. He's on the phone.
I can hear you.
Never mind. He's on the phone.
So, do you guys also run a class specific tire?
We don't have a class specific tire. Some guys run Hoosiers, some guys run Goodyears, and some guys run M&H. Some guys run Mickey Thompson. It's really the driver's choice on which tire they want.
I meant as far as size goes.
Oh, no, they can run any size. Some guys run 33, 15, 16s. Some guys run 33, 10, 5. Some guys run 32, 14s, 15. They all run different sizes. It just depends on how much room they have under their fenders and stuff.
Okay. And all of that ties into how much power the car makes, how it launches, how it's set up, and they may choose that tire because that's what works best with their vehicle.
Yes, sir. And a lot of times, what they do is they'll change tires to change their rear end. Without changing the gears and stuff, the rear end. What they'll do is they'll change the tire size